Introducing Pubcoin. Pubcoin is the rewards program for pub sports contributors. Regular chat contributors share their play of the day, POD, in the YouTube chat, including the phrase POD in their message. At the end of the week, the amount of units earned are converted into Pubcoins. Pubcoin can be used as reward points for prizes, shop discounts, and contests.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Mills here, Pub Sports Radio. Do you guys want to challenge the personalities here at Pub Sports Radio? Do you guys think you're better than them at entering in your MMA predictions and picks? Would you want to get paid for it? $100? Here's how you do it, man. You sign up right here at the link below. It's just this easy. PubSportsRadio.com. Enter your email. Pick your weekly picks. That's it. Oh, and you get bonus points if you can predict how they're going to win in what round. Every single week, a new winner's getting crowned. So every Saturday on Pub Sports Radio. So come on and check us out. You can win $100 just for signing up. Only thing you need to do is see if you can beat us here at Pub Sports Radio by entering your UFC predictions and picks weekly. Do it. I dare you. See you guys soon.
Upgrade your membership to gold, you will be automatically entered in every horse race, every Wednesday and Friday. It is time to race horses. We are racing camels today.
Shout out to the gold members. We're racing in San Antonio immediately here. And we're off. 2 minutes, 74 canals on this racetrack. It's wide. We're racing in San Antonio.
Pat Wally moving forwardly. Jeff Slaughter in the mix as well. And as is Randall Sheffield, who's put that beautiful nose out front.
But it's actually real grass here, Jimmy. Maybe Kentucky bluegrass. Oldie, no! There he goes. Oldie in the lead now. K. Wolf falls back. The horses love it. Sometimes they stop and eat it on the way to the finish line. That's why your horses start so far in the back. Here. Oh, look at Nussflush Allen bursting out here. J-Dub in the mix. Rude Boy up here as well. Jimmy, take it away.
There's Oldie. Oldie is moving to the front. We are past the halfway mark in our 2 mile. And there's Ricky Levy.
Oh my goodness, he's in the mix here. Jimmy, take it home. This is our first dog race ever.
19 seconds left in the horse race here. It's Fernando Mendoza trying to find the wire. 14 seconds left. Can Fernando Mendoza take this home? Here comes Kenny Can. Kenny Can wants a piece of the pie. Put his schnoz up front. Ricky Bobby, 9 seconds left. Can Donut Silks make a run? Can Res Mall make a run to be $50?
You son of a bitch!
Here comes Tori Coker. Kenny Can Smoke and Mirrors. Director 97 home. That is the way. Here comes Jason Meyer, the Eldorado custodian. Billy Friedrich. Jones one all coming down the advantage.
Coin! Nowhere!
Oh no! Fanatical Jim!
From the call of Peter Low Shack, legendary sports handicapper, more dapper than a dawn. Father young phenom, known as Jimmy, who declared one day that the bag was here to stay. Information like a PSA, when we all PSR, Pub Sports Radio, bizarre. Is a man named Slaughter and he flipped the script. No competition in this they quit the trip. But we say we be pubbing, baby with the bag and you love it. You want it top 10, we above it. Let's check.
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Thursday, September 25th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. I come in off my worst night of the MLB season. Capping is a cruel mistress. Hot, but cruel. It hurt, man. This late in the year to have your worst day of the season. different ways of reframing it. Basically, it yesterday alone cost all my winnings on my Milwaukee Brewers to win the division and season win total over. And you can't get it back in one day. I'm not going to sit here and start firing shots like crazy, although there's a lot of spots I want to attack. But I have to have a winning day today. And it's upsetting. It's upsetting. So I'm ready to attack. We have a great show today. We have Bobano joining us here shortly. MLB to get things started, and then we roll into college football and CFL. And we're going to move really quickly through CFL and college football. Dabby Cab joining us for the A&M Auburn game. He was hoping to be here with us yesterday, but power outage, big storm in Dallas. And then we go back to MLB. Then we get back to MLB. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm upset. I'm upset. But I can bounce back, and I have to right now. I'm going to copy and paste as much as possible here while we go. But we got to get into MLB right now because we really need to take advantage of the amount of time that we have Bobano for, which is just an hour. So I'm going to just copy and paste a couple things, and then I'm going to get us started right away here on our first game on the board. Justin McKelvey, Stacks plays of the day are in. Pig Milk play of the day is in. Let's get this all here locked and loaded. We got Kong, his man Ladolo in the house, and that's our first game. So I'm going to keep copying and pasting the action here, but we got to get right after it right now. We cannot wait another second. So thank you guys so much for joining us. I am not a crook, son. I'm a shook one today. Having the worst day of a season. Look, it happens. I've just avoided terrible days all season long. And then yesterday, I get absolutely annihilated. And so I'm a little shook. And our next guest is the perfect capper to snap me out of it and get me right back to work. And you guys are too. And I'm not going to sit here and just fucking wallow in self-pity. We attack the board. We don't need to stretch. We don't need to reach. But we need to win. So please welcome our first guest coming to us from Canada's Black and Yellow Steel Town, Hamilton, Ontario, star of the Hitting the Books YouTube channel and the Ice Guys, which is back in business as soon the NBA OG show. Please welcome our friend, Mr. Ian Cameron, to the show. Bobano, how are you?
Good to be back, Jimmy. Ready for another Thursday.
I am a little messed here. It's just the roller coaster ride. It doesn't get any easier. I love it. I'm addicted to it, but it doesn't get any easier. And days like yesterday, I'd have avoided all season long somehow in regular season, and then it just attacked in the worst time. So let's get right to work, Bobano. We have 2 games in MLB. Then we're going to quickly go through CFL, and then we're going to try to spend some time in college football. Bobano, I want you to keep in mind, and I'm going to try to orchestrate the pace here the best that I can, but I've moved the Auburn Texas A&M game to our last game for you, and Dabby Cab's going to join us for that one. So just to keep that in mind. Let's get right to work. We started 12:40 p.m. Eastern. Pittsburgh Pirates 69-89, 25-52 on the road. Terrible road team against the Cincinnati Reds, 80-78, 44-36 at home. We're at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio. We have already heard from our guy from our guy Kong's Clips. The MLB play today is Ladolo over. Ladolo over 6.5 Ks at -102. And shout out to our guy Kong's Clip. Let's rock. This is the only bets that I've come to the show with. The weather isn't correlate with this, but I am on overs. We don't even know if this game is going to start on time with the rain expected in Cincinnati. 70 Fahrenheit, feels like 73. The wind has died down, 2.8 now miles per hour out to right center. Bobano, do you think this first game of the day in MLB goes?
There's a bunch of games. Cincy, Philly, New York. There's a lot of venues where there's going to be a chance of a delay or maybe even a postponement. And, it all depends on timing. It depends on the radar. It depends on where the low pressure is going. Does it hit right where the stadium is, or does it maybe miss it by a little bit? It's all dependent on a bunch of factors. Hard to pinpoint.
Plus 16% runs today at Sutter Health Park. It's the same as Citizens Bank Park, and 15% is Great American Ballpark right behind them. Oriole Park is plus 14%. We have 4 ballparks.
Thanks for sure. And I've said this before. I'll say this about the weather situations across Major League Baseball today. That really scares me about getting on and over in those games. It really, really does.
Yeah, absolutely. Sleepy spots when they're just sitting there waiting to get out there. But offensive weather in those 4 ballparks, especially Citizens Bank, which we'll get to later, 48 plus 48% home runs there. But here at Great American Ballpark, plus 26%, minus 4% doubles and triples, and plus 8% singles. Let's get into the line history here for this one. We have right now the Cincinnati Reds are minus 165. They open up minus 155, a 10-cent move towards them. From a total standpoint here, wow, 7.5. I see our first 7.5 on the board. I'm looking at an 8, under 8 at minus 124. Wow. Amazing. I'm on the first 3 under and the full game under. These are the only books or only bets that I've come in with. I know my man TJ messaged me. He's on unders in this game and in the Baltimore game. I got the first 3 under 2.5 at minus 135. I got the full game under 8.5 at minus 119. So I like seeing where this line, I only bet it a few hours ago, not too long ago. Braxton Ashcraft is a great young pitcher. 2.62 ERA, 1.19 whip. His last start, it was an appearance. They've been trying to keep his inning count down. His last appearance was a thing of beauty. 2-0 win at home versus Athletics. He went 3 innings, didn't allow a hit, didn't walk a batter, and struck out 6. Guy's a monster. He can get out of trouble with strikeouts. He's one of those pitchers, he can get what he wants. You know, if he's looking for a double play ball, he'll get a double play ball. You know, he's a really talented pitcher. His splits are excellent. There's no spot, nowhere where he gets hurt. He has thrown 32 in a third innings on the road. He's only allowed 8 earned runs. Opponent's hitting 202 against him. He's only allowed 2 home runs in those 32 in a third. And then we have Nick Lodolo, who's looked questionable since coming off of the IL. He's had 4 starts. 1 was very good, and 3 were not. The last start was not. 7-4 win at home versus Cubs. But I went over each of those teams, and those teams are raking left-handed pitching. This team that he's facing is not. Pirates hitting 227, 650 OPS over the last 30 days. So and he's not, Lodolo's been kind of questionable at home. I am putting the emphasis on the fact that the Pirates can't hit lefties. The Pirates bullpen's very good. I don't think Ashcraft will be in for that long. I get that the Reds are the bet, but why would I bet it pregame when I could bet it live if I wanted after Ashcraft leaves? And even then, the Pirates bullpen's pretty good. Let's get into the cash flow here and hand it over to...
The tarp is on the field right now in Cincinnati, in case anyone's wondering. Yep. I've got the game on right, or the pregame, I think, for the Reds covered. The Reds pregame on right in front of me, and the tarp's on the field right now.
Okay. 62% of the tickets, 77% of cash on the Reds, who must win. 94% of tickets on the under, 88% cash on the under. You could say, wow, it's very public under. Yes, it's very public, but the books are reacting. Bobano, take it away.
Yeah, I think Lodolo will pitch better here. I wouldn't argue with anyone maybe looking at an under here. And Braxton Ashcraft does have solid numbers. I mean, you got to give him credit. He's got good stuff. He's got swing and miss in his repertoire. That's what you want to see. And we know that's not a prolific hitting Reds team. We know for Lodolo, even after a couple of shaky starts, if you could handpick one team you may choose in Major League Baseball to say, hey, this is a good team I can bounce back against, you could do a lot worse than the Pittsburgh Pirates. So I do expect the Lodolo here to pitch a lot better. So I have no argument here with the unders. I can't lay minus 175 with Cincinnati. Now, there's no bet for me in this game, but at the current numbers and prices, it's Pittsburgh if I were to bet it. Like, there's real pressure on this Cincinnati team. You know, and it's one thing for them to track down the Mets last weekend with the way they performed. Then you're right there. You see the finish line. You see a chance to be the last wild card team in the NL. And that's when you start to feel it as a younger team, a little bit of the pressure. And we're starting to see them, not play their best baseball so far, first 2 games of this series under that pressure. So I don't want to lay this much with the Reds. It's a lean Pirates, and I don't disagree with any unders. Like I said, no bet for me, but lean Pirates, lean under.
Let's keep rolling. Thank you guys so much for joining us. So many great cappers and friends in the chat. It's great to see all of you guys. Sorry I didn't give you the proper shouts out. We just have to move very quickly as we're tight for time, but I will be intermittently shouting you guys out because we have nothing without you guys. We move on to the only other baseball game we'll be capping with Bobano. He can add any best bets that he would like, but 1:05 p.m. Eastern with the Tampa Bay Rays 77-81, 36-41 on the road at the Baltimore Orioles 74-84, 38-42 at home. We're at Oriole Park in Camden Yards, Baltimore, Maryland. I think this is. Tell me it is. Yes. Okay. Perfect. Beautiful. We have Drew Rasmussen going up against Cade Povich. Obviously, I find Rasmussen appealing as a starting pitcher, but this market, I don't. I want to fade Povich, but it's a strange market. Let's start with this total. It's an 8.5 minus 114 to the under, 9-cent move to the under. That makes sense. The Orioles, especially, are not hitting, and you'd think that Rasmussen should be able to pitch well. Now, the Orioles. So, okay, the Rays are hitting lefties hard, 262, 753 OPS. Cade Povich is a question mark. So why on earth does this line move so swiftly towards the Orioles? They opened up a plus 118. They're now plus 102. I want things to correlate. But if I didn't care about correlation with my X's and O's, and I only followed market moves like this, I would have a positive ROI. It's just a slippery slope. You start not capping games and just looking at the market and say, oh, well, that they're telling us that that's the bet, so I bet. It's just a slippery slope, and I don't want to start doing that. But I would have a positive ROI if I just said, look, the books are opening up their arms to anybody who's betting the Rays. I'm going to bet the Orioles, and I'm actively trying not to do that. Let's get to the cash flow here. We have 68% of tickets and 91% of the cash on the Rays. It's insane, Ian. It's insane. And people will tell you that the books want 50-50 action. I mean, come on. Can we stop with that archaic nonsense? The books are absolutely destroying the public. They're actively beating you. They don't need 50-50 money because they want billions, not millions. Trillions, not billions. 91% of the cash is on the Rays, and yet this line is moving towards the Orioles. And you tell me that books want 50-50. Cade Povich, 3-8, 5.06 ERA, 1.46 whip. Last start, 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 5 Ks, 4 walks, and a 7-0 loss at home versus the Yankees. At home, he's being bad. Opponents hitting 284 against him. He's allowed 13 home runs at home, only 4 on the road. His splits, I mean, he gets hit by both sides. He doesn't have the traditional left-handed splits. Rays versus lefties, I said they're hitting him. Rays bullpen better than the Orioles. Where do the Orioles have an advantage? Well, they don't. So why is this line moving towards them? I didn't touch on the weather in Baltimore. This one is going to go. There's more chances of rain as the day goes on, but there's not supposed to be rain right now. 77 feels like 76, 9.7 miles per hour out to center. And then when we get to a ballpark pal here for Oriole Park, plus 14%, plus 13% homers, plus 6% doubles and triples, and plus 8% singles. Bobano, take it away.
I mean, boy, oh boy. I mean, last 16 starts, Rasmussen has a 2.8 ERA. You mentioned the Rays are hitting lefties well. Povich has a 6.07 home ERA. Yeah, I know the money's coming in on Baltimore, but I'm on Tampa. I'll make Tampa official. I mean, I'm an X's and O's capper. I look at the matchups. Like I say, I'm not that terrified. You know, when the line's going the other way, the matchup to me screams Tampa Bay. It just does. You know, Rasmussen's just a much better starter, in my opinion, going into this game. Now, length of his pitching is going to be a little bit of a concern because he doesn't pitch deep. You know, you may get a decent chunk of the Rays bullpen. It's not like the Orioles bullpen's phenomenal either, though. So, like I said, Tampa Bay, and it's a nice cheaper price, if anything. You know, win or lose, I'm getting even a little bit of a better price than what I initially got, which was minus 120, and now we can get as low as minus 108. So, Tampa Bay, I will make it official, minus 108.
The Rays minus 108 for Bobano. How long do you think Rasmussen pitches for?
If we get 5 innings out of him, I'll be happy. He's capable of going 5. The problem is he doesn't always go 5. There's been some starts where last start he went 3. But again, he kind of labored in that when the pitch count got up a little bit. He's been averaging 5 to 6 innings for the last month or so. So if he gives me 5 or 6, I'll be happy.
Okay, so I'm going to keep copying and pasting. I've missed some of the best bets here in the chat. Thank you. Keep sending them in. Thank you guys for rocking with us here. I mean, it's. I believe in Cade Povich, but then he's cost me money this year. So what am I supposed to say? I also have the issue with some of these Oriole pitchers. I watch a lot of Oriole games, and he looks good at times. He looks completely in control, and yet he just gets rocked.
There's only one spot for sure that I'll be on Baltimore the rest of this regular season. That's when they start Rogers in the Bronx against the Yankees. I will absolutely take Baltimore there. He's that good. He's been just outstanding, that guy.
Great to see all of you guys. Wine time on the over 8.5 here in the Orioles game. Wine time celebrated his 31st birthday yesterday. Also announced that he is going to be a father not too long from now. A first-time father. What a great dad he's going to be. And shout out to the Wine Time family. Gorky on the Red Sox money line. There's a Toronto guy understanding what's happening to the Blue Jays. And then we have his play today, number 2 here. Gorky's. I thought I had 2 plays today. Oh, yeah, and the Diamondbacks here. Okay, now I'm astonished with this market. I'm just so astonished with this Rays-Orioles market. I mean, okay, compare it to yesterday with the A's-Astros. I mean, the market was going against all the X's and O's and telling us the A's were going to take care of business. And I was like, look, I can't fade Hunter Brown with their season on the line. And what did the A's do? Dominate.
No.
So I might get on to the Orioles. I just want to sit with it a little bit longer and try to understand what the hell the books are doing. The Orioles are hitting 200 with a 618 OPS versus righties last 30 days. Crazy. Okay, Bobano, we got to go rapid fire into CFL here to have time for college football. We're going to be cutting out.
Actually, put another MLB play on the card for me from one of the later games. Obviously, you'll be breaking it down later in the show, but give me the Miami Marlins as a dog against the Phillies. I love this spot. Now, we don't know if this game's going to be delayed or maybe even postponed, but I love this spot for Miami. Don't forget, before they got blown out by the Phillies last night, Miami was really rolling, playing great baseball. And that win for the Phillies last night clinched a bye to the divisional round. So now there's even less on the table, less at stake for the Phillies here in these remaining games of the regular season. And I don't trust Buehler, in a price range like this. Miami's been a little bit better at the plate. And Jansen Junk, has actually pitched okay. If you look at his last couple starts, he's pitched all right, for the Miami Marlins. So you factor in clinching a bye last night, maybe a little bit of a hangover spot for the Phillies following that. Miami's been playing well. Miami did win the first game of this series, we remember, in extra innings. So I think it's a good spot here. I like the price. Miami for me at plus 142.
And the Marlins at plus 142. I am behind on records right now. It's just I'm overwhelmed right now with work and capping. It's just a couple spots like college football that I got to catch up on.
Yeah, family duty too sometimes, of course. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's a show. It's Carter Junior Kindergarten show and tell day. So he's bringing in his boxing gloves. Man, this I know he's only 4, but he starts swinging those boxing gloves. He's gonna have women all over him. My boy Carter, man, and let the bullies fucking know. But there aren't any right now. All right, let's roll into Canadian football. Bobano, my friend. And we're going to rapid fire through these spots. So let's get to work. We have an absolutely fascinating card. Some talk in the chat about our futures on the Alouettes. We just didn't time it perfect, but we timed it pretty well. We have Davis Alexander back for the Montreal Alouettes. Vernon Adams is cleared to play. God, it's uncomfortable backing VA, big play VA, because he's one headshot. Anytime his head does anything, hits the grass, anything, he's going to be pulled from the game. And he's not coming back in. And now they don't have a backup quarterback. So Logan is being re-signed. I don't know what the hell they're going to.
They don't have an experienced one or a good one.
That's
because
true.
Maybe Josh Love can be okay, but he's got 0 CFL experience, and we know Logan Bonner stinks. We don't want any part of him.
And Logan was just re-signed, 2 days ago. So this line is moving towards the Alouettes, and it's moving very quickly. And you guys know me. I want to fade Davis Alexander in his first game back, but I don't know if I can do it. I'm wondering, what does the number need to be? Well, a 6 is really appealing. I don't know.
I don't think it'll get that high.
Well, probably not. But we've blown through the 4, so we're now at 4.5. I mean, it will be a 5. I'm certain of that, which means 6 isn't too far away. I was just more saying, what would I need? The total is a 50.5. It is not moving. Take it away here. The Alouettes at home, where they're just 2-5. Ian, take it away.
So Montreal's on my card here, but it's a 2-team money line parlay that I'm going to use for the show here because obviously I got a better number and price on Montreal. I will use them in a money line parlay with another game on the CFL card. So Montreal will be the first leg of a 2-team money line parlay. I'll give the second leg when we get to that other game that I'm using. I know it's his first game and he hasn't played since week 7. I can't fade this guy as a quarterback just because he's undefeated, unbeaten as a CFL starting quarterback, and the record matters to him. He says he really was trying to get after, being the guy to have the most consecutive wins as a starting quarterback to start his CFL career. So it matters to Davis Alexander to achieve that. And then you turn it around to Calgary. I've been waiting for so long for this fucking team to start shitting their pants, Calgary, because I said there's no way they're this good after a horrible season last year. They're not going to keep doing this. And sure enough, they get ripped by Edmonton. The defense has fallen apart all of a sudden. 31 points they give up to Edmonton. They get just crushed by Nathan Rourke and BC last week in that game. They've got injuries now starting to appear on that side of the football. Vernon Adams, I don't know if he's 100%. That back issue, he's also got some head issues. There's 2 parts of his body that have been banged up lately. It's not just the head trauma.
Well, he says it's just his ribs. So make it 3.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not sure he's 100%. I think if they had if he had more confidence, Dave Dickinson and his backup quarterbacks, I don't think we'd be seeing Vernon Adams here in this game. And he's not playing well. You go back to Labor Day, 28-7. It looks like he played great. He didn't. He had less than 200 passing yards. I mean, that was a game where Calgary's defense dominated. The offense didn't really click. The game against Edmonton in the rematch, Vernon Adams had a terrible game. He struggled. And it goes without saying, before he left the game due to injury against BC last week, he had a terrible game. That was awful from him. 2 interceptions, horrible decision-making. His confidence is shaken. I'm not convinced he's 100%. This Calgary team's just out of sorts right now. And Montreal's starting to put it together, and they've got their best quarterback who hasn't lost back on the field. So, yeah, like I said, I think the number, I'd be careful laying 4.5, but I'm totally confident putting Montreal in a money line parlay.
Yeah, no, I agree with all of that. The Irish King loving the Green Riders to win the Grey Cup. I mean, look, Trevor Harris has stayed healthy, which is what I didn't expect, and I still don't, and I hate that. I don't mean to be negative. I think the Alouettes win the Grey Cup if Davis Alexander stays healthy. I mean, there's all
dangerous
these
football team. This is still, in my opinion, a very good football team, and as a Ticat fan, I am worried about seeing them down the road.
Oh yeah, they're an absolute danger here. Gorky is Calgary scoring over 25.5 here. Ron Crawford is on Calgary. I agree. I think it's a bounce back spot, but goddamn, can VA play 60 minutes? I expect to be on Calgary. I just want to be very calm, very relaxed, and wait and see what kind of number I can get at this point. Bobano, first leg is on Montreal. Let's move on to the Friday night action here. Argos Lions. Argos 5-9, 3-5 on the road. Are the Lions the most dangerous 500 football team that we've seen this late in the CFL season? I mean, the BC Lions can beat any team in the Canadian Football League, but their defense is such a major question mark, and it's really held them back. And their coaching as well. We have a 56.5 here. Opened up 56.5, went up to 57, came back to 56.5. And on the point spread, we have a 9. The Lions are 9-point favorite. I see 8s now. I mean, this is moving towards the Argos. But this, I'm looking at the -9 at +100. Again, these games will be fully capped again tomorrow with Gorky and I to close out the Friday show. Take it away, Ian.
Yeah, this is going to be an over trifecta for me, as in I'm betting both team totals over and the full game over in this football game. I like them both. Now that Arbuckle's in, I think the Argos will score points in this game. I don't mind people taking the plus points with Toronto, but I'd rather bet on their offense, not bet on their defense against Nathan Rourke and the hottest quarterback and offense going in the CFL right now. But I do think Arbuckle back on the field after missing. Daggy was terrible, by the way. Awful. performance by him in that game against Toronto. If not for MBT being so bad, Montreal could have blown him out. But MBT was
losing the double result with you,
that was
Ian.
sickening.
That's about as angry as I've been. Like I don't.
How do you throw that interception, you stupid fuck?
What
That's what I said about Bethel Thompson.
What are you
there.
thinking? It's you have
Get to halftime, asshole.
Team.
Yeah.
Just the momentum. Why would you give them momentum? Why would you give them any opportunity?
I was pissed, man. Yeah.
Oh,
same
sorry.
with you.
Keep going, my friend.
That's all right. Sometimes we gotta look at the scars. Scars remind us that the past is real. Remember that Papa Roach song? Anyway,
I don't.
Yeah,
but I like it. I like it when you sing it.
Yeah, that's what it reminds us here. But yeah, I'm going to go Toronto team total over 22.5, minus 130. BC, look, this is the hottest thing going right now. I mentioned it last week. BC's gone over their team total 9 straight games. They're looking to make it 10 straight. So I will go with BC team total over 32.5, minus 125. And over 56 minus 112 with the full game. Over series history. Over in the earlier meeting this year in Toronto when we were at Woodbine that day. The game just flew over the total. Both teams went over their team total. I don't know if anything significantly changes here because, in my opinion, the offenses are vastly superior to the 2 defenses on both of these football teams. So both team totals over, full game over for me. Toronto, BC.
All right, let's roll on. Let's roll on. Everybody loves it when you start singing, Ian.
Okay, we in my head. The scars remind us that the past is real. I remember that. It was like a high school song for me.
I don't know who Papa Roach is. I don't even know what that is. But it sounds good when you sing it. But we got to move quick.
Ron Crawford knows. There we go.
This is the first time I've smiled in a long time. This has been just
bring the sunshine to betting with the bag here. Yeah.
All right. Hamilton Tiger Cats, Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Princess Auto Stadium, Winnipeg, Manitoba, Saturday the 27th. Again, we're just rolling through this very, very quickly. We are going to spend more time on college football with Ian Cameron. Here we have Hamilton right now at +2. I'm looking at 1.5. This opened up at +1. So the Bombers opened up at -1. And have moved to -2. We know that Zach Collaros is champing to get back in. Will they allow him to? Take it away, Ian. This totals at 51.5 -110.
I'm always unbiased when it comes to the Ticats, and I said last week I liked Edmonton plus the points they covered in that game against the Ticats last week. Was Winnipeg getting Zach Collaros back? A place we never win. I can't remember the last time Ticats went to Winnipeg and beat the Bombers. It's been a long time. Winnipeg just lost to us 2 weeks ago with a horrible performance, piss poor, horrific by Strevler that night. I remember it. Bad interceptions, bad decisions, could barely throw the football. I have no idea in my life how Winnipeg won last week. 54 freaking passing yards. 54 freaking passing yards. And Winnipeg won that football game somehow. 26-18. Mistakes on special teams by Ottawa, mistakes on defense, red zone failures, a couple Drew Brown interceptions that took points off the board. I mean, Ottawa just did everything to beat themselves in that game, and Winnipeg didn't do anything throwing the football and still was able to win that game. But now they get Collaros back. I don't care what you think about Collaros, whether he's maybe not as good as he was, say, a couple of years ago. He still leaps and bounds better throwing the football than Strevler. It's an upgrade. I like Winnipeg in this spot. We'll take him on the money line here, Jimmy, with the Bombers here in this game at -120 is the best price out there with Bombers money line. They got to 53 points 2 weeks ago in Hamilton, 32-21, and that was with Strevler, and he didn't even play that great. So I think over 51.5 -110. I like that total as well.
You are in business. Then we have Rich H, who's been crushing CFL as well. He's got first half, both teams to score 10 in this one, Winnipeg, Hamilton, and he's got it also in that Toronto, BC spot. Of course, Rich H from the 604. Saskatchewan Roughriders, Edmonton Elks, Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton, Alberta to move past this CFL card. We have a 54.5 at -110. Speaking of that, just quickly, that Red Blacks Bombers game, I joined you on the Red Blacks. I also had the Red Blacks double result. I did have first half under and full game under, which kind of took a little of the anger, but I've had back-to-back bad weeks in CFL. And then I was watching the game and I was like, oh, come on. Red Blacks are going to win this game. Like, this is ridiculous. So I live bet the Red Blacks as well. So that's how bad it went watching Streveler deliver his magic, and I kind of like it that he is able to conjure up that magic. 54.5 is the total. It is not moved, Ian. And then we have the Elks plus 3.5 at minus 105. A 5-cent move towards the Rough Riders as road favorites. Take it away.
We got a Papa Roach discussion going on now in the chat. I see after I sang that little ditty. Scars by Papa Roach. If you're interested in what the hell I was singing there, that is it. Last Resort was their biggest hit. And if you actually listen, that's actually a hell of a good song. That was easily their biggest hit. Last Resort was one of the first hits they did, Papa Roach, year 2000. So, like I said, make sure you check that out. That was actually a really good song if you like hard rock. Anyway, Saskatchewan and Edmonton. This is the other leg of the two-team money line parlay for me. I like Saskatchewan here. You couldn't ask for a better setup, right? They got their asses kicked by, of all people, McLeod Bethel Thompson, typical MBT, typical Macbeth, plays the game of his life in Saskatchewan 2 weeks ago, and turns around, plays the worst game possible the last week against Toronto. That's what you get from him. But he lit it up against Saskatchewan. I was shocked how bad the defense was for the Riders against the Alouettes at home 2 weeks ago. But they're stewing off that loss. Nobody was happy about it. You're off a bye week. You're looking to, make amends for just a horrific performance prior to the bye. And I worry now. Edmonton's been a covering machine. Here's the one issue: Edmonton's 8-1 against the spread since Fajardo took over from Trey Ford at quarter. They've been a covering machine, and makes you think, geez, we got to keep riding Edmonton. And I've been on Edmonton a lot, but I worry about them, Jimmy, in this spot. You're off back-to-back, soul-sucking, soul-crushing losses in back-to-back games on a walk-off field goal against Toronto 2 weeks ago, Hamilton last week. You lost on a walk-off field goal 2 weeks in a row if you're Edmonton. And these are two costly losses that make the climb to make the playoffs even more difficult. I worry about the mentality and the psyche a little bit for the Elks here, coming off those kind of losses. Saskatchewan's had a lot of success against Edmonton. They've dominated this year, especially in Edmonton. I went back and looked. Saskatchewan's 5-0 straight up and against the spread in their last 5 trips to Commonwealth Stadium. So they have played Edmonton very well. I lean to the 3.5 as well, but I figured for the show here, I like the idea of Montreal just asking them to win the game. I like the idea of Saskatchewan as well, just asking them to win the game. Parlayed together, it's plus 112 on Montreal and Saskatchewan, 2-team money line parlay. And this is another game where I do like points. Edmonton, that was on a string of unders, but their defense has come unglued. They've got a couple of injuries. They've given up, 31 to Toronto, 29 to Hamilton. Saskatchewan's got a lot of injuries in the secondary going into this game. That's the one issue. I mean, other than Marcus Sales and Milligan, there's a lot of other DBs for the Riders that are a little bit banged up going into this game. So it could open the door for Edmonton to put up some points. So I will tack on the over in this game, Jimmy, over 54 minus 118.
You are in business, Bobano, over 54 minus 118 in Riders, Elks, Bombers, moneyline minus 120 in the over 51.5 in Ticats, Bombers, over 56, both team totals over for the Lions, 32.5, and for the Argos, 22.5. And we have a Montreal, Saskatchewan moneyline parlay.
Good to get plus money with that Riders Alouettes parlay. That's a pretty good price.
Which leads us into college football. We got to move quickly. This first game, we are not going to cut out as it's for tonight. Let's get into it. Army Black Knights 1-2, 0-1 the American at the East Carolina Pirates, opening up their American account. We're at Dowdy Ficklin Stadium in Greenville, North Carolina. We have already heard from our guy, Billy Friedrich. ECU -4 at -110 is the Big Milk play of the day. East Carolina Pirates, sweet Pig Milk. Bobano, take it away. Your thoughts on tonight's game.
My thoughts are East Carolina should score at will against Army. I think Army's got a pretty pitiful defense right now. We saw it against North Texas. Couldn't get any stops, no pass rush. Their secondary is susceptible here to Caton Hauser in this East Carolina offense. But the thing is, East Carolina's got to defend the triple option on a short week. It's not an easy prep, as we know. So I worry about backdoor stuff going on here with Army. And Army's offense looked pretty good, actually, last week against North Texas. Has got a lot better defense. And I thought 21-0. I'm home and cool. I'm going to win that bet easily. And I had to sweat my butt off. So that game goes to overtime. Army kept coming back, scoring every time North Texas answered. But North Texas survived. But boy, that's the thing with laying points against Army. I don't think Army's anywhere close to as good as last year. But they play for 60 minutes. And they stay in games, and it's not the easiest thing to say, let's lay 4 against Army. So there's no bet here for me. I have a small ECU money line and over 46 parlay. That's not official. It's just a small SGP that I got going for this game. ECU money line and over 46. Get the total a little bit lower because I do think there'll be points. I just want the total a little bit lower because you won't get a lot of pace, especially from Army's side of the equation. But I think it's a tough game. I lean ECU, but not comfortable laying more than a field goal.
Let's roll on to Saturday action here with Ian Cameron. We start 1:30 p.m. Eastern with the Georgia Southern Eagles, 2-2, opening up their Sun Belt account. We are going to be clipping this, so let's get the graphics up. I know Jose is doing double duty, so do we have it, Jose? Okay, Jose will get it going. So let's start this one again because we're going to be clipping this. We have Ian Cameron here on Pub Sports Radio. We're talking best bets on Saturday. We start with the Georgia Southern Eagles, 2-2, opening up their Sun Belt account at the James Madison Dukes, also opening up their Sun Belt Conference schedule, Bridgeforth Stadium in Harrisonburg, Virginia. Georgia Southern, we saw them lose to Fresno State badly to start out the year 42-14. Then they lose badly at USC. Bobano talked about what a tough way to start your season out west. And they've come back and they've looked much better. I mean, they had to take on Jacksonville State Gamecocks. They were 3.5-point favorites. They dominated the fourth quarter and win 41-34. Then they face FCS competition, which is not too important. Here for the Dukes, they have gone back-to-back road games. They faced Louisville, lost 28-14. Then they had their bye week, and then they traveled to Liberty and beat up on Liberty. They were 7.5-point favorites. That opened up at 11.5, so there was a big move towards Liberty, and they took over late and won that one. Bobano, let's get into the line history here and listen to how you are attacking this one. Again, 1:30 p.m. Eastern. We have James Madison right now at -17. I'm looking at 17.5. This is a juice 17 at -121. It opened up at 16.5, down to 16, and then up to 17 at -121. So it is moving towards the Dukes. And when we get to the total here in this one, we have, here we go. Total wise, we have this one sitting at 57.5. It's -115 to the under. This is just skyrocketed up. Opened up at 54.5. And interestingly enough, the first move was down to 54 before it started climbing. It got up to 58 on Monday. Right now we're at 57.5. Ian Cameron, take it away. I'll pull up the cash situation as soon as your breakdown is over. Georgia Southern, James Madison, floor is yours, my friend.
I can't think of a worse matchup for Georgia Southern. Like, they have no run defense whatsoever, and that's all James Madison's primarily going to do. Is just run the football. And Georgia Southern is just not bad. They're atrocious stopping the run. So I don't think there's any stopping this JMU rushing attack for Georgia Southern here in this game. This is one of the worst defenses probably in FBS football from what I've seen. They just give up points. They've given up points to every good team they played. Fresno put 42 on them, 59 by USC, 34 by a way down Jacksonville State team. Now, they won that game because they scored 41, but you get my point. They play fast still, even though it's a new coaching staff. So there's 3 bets I'm on here. I'm on JMU double up the spread and the team total. I think they're going to get into the 40s here against this horrible Georgia Southern defense, which is even worse against the run, which fits perfectly against into what the Dukes want to do on offense. So I will lay the 17 with James Madison -110. I will go with the team total over 37.5 at +100. So that's over 37.5 +100. for the team total on JMU. And I will also take the full game over in this game because I do believe JMU gets into the 40s. But if they have a big lead, there is some offense here with French at quarterback for Georgia Southern that they could score a bunch of garbage points late. That is in the cards. So over 57, minus 110.
Over 57 at minus 110. Triple up spot for Bobano. At this point, we have 60% of the tickets and 59% of the cash on Georgia Southern. It's a bit of a surprise. And then James Madison, Georgia Southern over has 88% of the tickets and 89% of the cash. Bobano on JMU minus 17. JMU team total over 37.5 at plus 100 and full game over 57 minus 110. We roll on. Next up for Ian Cameron, we have the Notre Dame Fighting Irish at Arkansas Razorback Stadium in Fayetteville, Arkansas. We talked about the astonishing defensive play against Memphis. Every time it looked like the Hogs were in control, they let Memphis walk right back into it. And Notre Dame sitting here with real defensive issues themselves. Speaking of the defensive issues, we have a 64. Now, this opened up at 65, the highest total on the entire board. Opened up at 65, dropped to 64 on the point spread here. Get this up here. On the point spread, we have Notre Dame down to 4. They opened up at 6. This also got up to 6.5 early when it was available, and now we have a flat 4. So we have a move towards the Hogs. When we get to the cash flow for this one, we have 68% of the tickets on Arkansas, but just 51% of the cash. 59% of tickets on the over and 88% cash on the over. Ian Cameron, take it away. Fighting Irish Razorbacks.
Well, it's been a weekly staple of my college football card here on this show, and that's Notre Dame games over the total, and we're going right back to that. Well, they've gone over every game. This is all offense, no defense, and I don't know if it's going to change here. I like what I see from Price and Jeremiah Love, the 2 running backs. CJ Carr to me is playing well, and he's getting better with each game, but there's no defense to be had here for this Notre Dame team. Their defense is atrocious. Even last week against Purdue, they still gave up 30 points. In that game against the Boilermakers, and we know that they got shredded by Marcel Reed and Texas A&M the week before that. So I think Arkansas moves the ball at home. I don't trust the Notre Dame defense, but you could flip it around to say, Arkansas gives up 32 points in a loss to Memphis last week. Their defense really hasn't been all that great so far this year. They're still having issues on that ball. They really struggle in coverage. That is an issue that Notre Dame can exploit here. So yeah, over 64, minus 115.
Over 64 at minus 115 for Notre Dame, Arkansas. We roll on. Staying at 12 p.m. Eastern on Saturday, we have the UCF Knights, 3-0, opening up their Big 12 account. The Kansas State Wildcats, 1-3, 0-1 in the Big 12. We're at Bill Snyder Family Stadium in Manhattan, Kansas. A UCF coming off beating badly North Carolina 34-9. That was coming off of their bye week. Kansas State coming off their bye week. They lost to Army. It was shocking, 24-21. Then they lose to Arizona 23-17 on the road, get the bye week, and now they host UCF. Let's take a look at this line history here. We will start with the sidewise. We have Kansas State -5 at minus 110. They opened up at 6.5. That's a 1.5 move to UCF. When we get to the total here, we have a 49.5. This is juiced to the over. It opened up at 49. We've climbed a half point. And then we get to the cash flow for UCF Kansas State. I was looking at this last night. I think it's down at the bottom of the board. And here it is. We have no information on the total, but we know 84% of the tickets and 91% of the cash on UCF. Ian Cameron, take it away.
I think the only advantage Kansas State has here is they're off a bye week, but they are playing awful football. They haven't played well. They haven't covered a point spread yet this year. And I said UCF would be a bet-on team if they go to Taven Jackson at quarterback. Now, unfortunately, it took an injury to Cam Fancher for Scott Frost to put this guy in there, when to me he's clearly the better quarterback. But it finally happened. He played great last week against North Carolina. UCF ends up blowing out the North Carolina Tar Heels and the hoodie. Bill Belichick, 34-9 in that game. Taven Jackson looked very, very strong. at the quarterback position. And I said, as long as Taven Jackson remains this team's quarterback, there's going to be potential for UCF to win games and cover point spreads, because I think he's solid. He did a good job in relief for the injured Curtis Rourke, I should say, last year at quarterback. And like I said, I think when you look at this, I think it's his football team now. I know they say you shouldn't lose your spot to injury, but to me, he's clearly better than Cam Fancher. Kansas State's just a mess. Their defense is not good. Their secondary is really problematic, which could be trouble against Jackson. And Avery Johnson has not gotten any better throwing the football. Don't be fooled by the Arizona score 2 weeks ago. That was a close game, but they got a bunch of points in a short span. And other than that, they got destroyed in that game. And if not for Arizona turnovers that kept Kansas State in it could have been a worse margin of defeat for Kansas State. So there's not a lot I like about Kansas State, and I don't trust them certainly to be winning games by margin right now. So UCF plus 6.5 for me, minus 115.
UCF plus 6.5 at minus 115 for Ian Cameron. We move on. The number 15 ranked Tennessee Volunteers on the road at 4:15 p.m. Eastern in Starkville, Mississippi, to take on the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Also 4-0. The Bulldogs opening up their SEC account. Taking a look here at the total, very high. Now, this has climbed up to now rival the Notre Dame Arkansas total, both games at 64. But this one opened up at 62.5. Interestingly enough, this was a 62 Tuesday morning. It has climbed since then, 2 points up to 64. Let's get into the spread and the cash flow here for Mississippi State, Tennessee. From a spread perspective, we have, blew past it. We have Tennessee now -8. They opened up -9.5. Another interesting part of this line was that when it became available at 9.5, it took 11 minutes for it to get to 10. This was a 10 at a pick'em. And then the move quickly to Mississippi State. This got down to a 7.5. It moved Wednesday night back to 8. A little bit of buyback on the Volunteers. Let's get the cash flow up here, as well as just discuss what's going on for these teams. Mississippi State coming in off waxing Northern Illinois 38-10 at home. They also had FCS Alcorn State before that and dominated them 63-0. For Tennessee, it was tough getting past that or over the 44-41 overtime loss to Georgia, and they did that by beating up on UAB at home 56-24. This is the first time we've seen Tennessee travel. We have 59% of the tickets and 66% of the cash on Tennessee at this line is moving towards the Bulldogs. 50% of tickets on the over, but 72% of cash on that over, and the book's paying attention, moving it up 2 points. Take it away for us, Bobano. Volunteers, Bulldogs.
There are so many good games on Saturday, and all the attention is Oregon, Penn State, Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Washington. Those are the games that are really getting the headlines. Don't lose sleep on this game. Tennessee, or don't lose sight of this game, Tennessee and Mississippi State. Mississippi State to me is a better football team this year. This is going to be their test, obviously, because you can look at their schedule. They haven't played anyone nearly as good, obviously, as Tennessee. But I like Blake Shapen, Jeff Lebby in his second year as head coach with that up-tempo offense. I think they've got a good offensive line, good weapons. I think there'll be a challenge for, a Tennessee defense that I thought was supposed to be really good this year. I don't think they've been great. Georgia went up and down the field against them. UAB was able to, score a few points against them. So I think there's a chance for some offensive success here for Mississippi State in this game. Tennessee probably can move the ball as well with Aguilar through the air. Mississippi State's defense so far has been a lot better, but the quality of offensive competition is about to go up here a little bit as far as I'm concerned. That being said, I'm really, really high on it. Mississippi State improvement this year. Last year, it was Tennessee pretty much in firm control of them. So there is some reservation here, but I am still going to take Mississippi State here, plus 8.5 at minus 112. And I am also on that over here in this game. Best number is at the Ontario Book Pro Line Plus, over 62.5, minus 110.
Over 62.5, minus 110. And what was the VIG on the plus 8?
minus 112. 8.5, minus 112.
8.5. Okay, 8.5. You are in business. Back in the Bulldogs at home in Starkville. We
Don't
move
forget that
on.
Starkville, all those cowbells, that can be, when they get up for a big team coming in, they're capable of doing it. That's a good game, though.
It's gonna. You're right. There's so many monster games on Saturday. We roll on. Next spot on the board for Bobano. We head to Springfield, Missouri, home of the Missouri State Bears, taking on the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Hilltoppers 3-1, 1-0 in conference play. The Bears opening up their conference account. Western Kentucky coming off an impressive home win over Nevada at 31-16. That came on the heels of getting beaten up at Toledo 45-21. Missouri State took on SMU and played them tough. They lost 28-10. They were up 10-0 after the first quarter. They were only down 14-10 at the half. They were 28.5-point dogs and covered pretty easily. Now, they didn't score again after the first quarter, but they played tough and they played well. Let's take a look at the line history here for Bobano's next spot on the board. 7 p.m. Eastern. We have Missouri State right now at home at +5. They opened up at 5.5. Now, this 5 is juiced to minus 117, so we can call it maybe a quarter of a point move towards the Hilltoppers. And when we get to the total for this one, sorry, taking a second here. There we go. When we get to the total, come on. We have it's sitting right now at 61, minus 120 to the over. This opened up at 59 and has really just climbed. The first time it got to 61, there was buyback. Now we've blown through the 61.5. Oh, sorry about that. Actually, an hour ago, this moved back to 61, but it is juiced to the over. Cash flow wise, we have no information on the total, but we know 81% of the tickets are on Western Kentucky and 67% of the cash. Ian Cameron, take it away.
I mentioned how Georgia Southern has a really bad matchup against James Madison. I think this could be a problematic matchup here for Missouri State, because Missouri State is much worse in their pass defense compared to their run defense. Like, the secondary is very vulnerable. And what's Western Kentucky going to do in this situation? They're going to throw the ball. They throw the ball a ton. They don't run the ball very much. They throw it a ton with, obviously, Rick Bowie from Abilene Christian, the OC, coming into Western Kentucky, bringing his quarterback, Maverick McIver, with him to Western Kentucky. And when Western Kentucky throws the ball a ton and can do so against a leaky secondary that struggles to defend the pass, that's when they have their success. And this could be a matchup that's just hand-in-glove fit for the Hilltoppers here in this. And I like Missouri State. Missouri State, I said, would be a team that would make some money. You'd be able to back them. And I think they'd be an under-the-radar ATS team. And sure enough, they're 3-1 against the spread on the season. I just don't like this matchup, though, for them. And I think this is a week where we could see Western Kentucky score their points. So this is a triple up again. I'm going to go Western Kentucky -4, minus 110. Western Kentucky team total over 33.5, and that is at minus 115. And last but not least, the full game over. I do like Jacob Clark. I do like the Missouri State offense. The Western Kentucky defense still can give up some points. We've seen that previously this year. So I do think Missouri State will chip in a little bit as well to the offensive production. So over 61.5, minus 110 for the full game over.
Triple up spot here for Ian Cameron. Western Kentucky -4, minus 110. Western Kentucky team total over 33.5, minus 115. And the over 61.5 at minus 110. We head over to the American Conference. Memphis coming off that big home victory over the Hogs, 4-0, opening up their American account at Florida Atlantic Owls. We're at Flagler Credit Union Stadium in Boca Raton for this one. This is another total that's climbing up to the Notre Dame range, but this one also opened up much lower, 60.5. Now we're all the way up to 63.5. We did get to a 64 on Tuesday afternoon, and then there was buyback, but we're sitting here. And also this, I should mention, the 63.5 is pretty juiced to the under. You get plus money for the over 63.5. So maybe, and also looking across at the board, I see 62s. So it is not quite as high as I've made it out to be. From a point spread standpoint here, we have Memphis at minus 13.5. 13.5. Memphis opened right there at 13.5. They did get up to 14 for a cup of coffee, but it's come back to 13.5. Taking a look at the cash flow, 66% of the tickets, 63% of the cash is on Memphis, 55% of tickets on the over, and 56% of cash on the under. And we have FAU coming off losing at Florida International and off of a bye week. Is this a letdown spot for Memphis? Is this a spot where we can take advantage of what they just did to the Hogs? Take it away, Ian. I'm all ears.
These are spots where I don't fully trust this Memphis Tigers coach, Ryan Silverfield. I don't think he's done a great job with this. Now, they're off to a great start, and they've had decent seasons. But remember, Mike Norvell had them as one of the premier group of 5 teams when he coached before he went to Florida State. And I think they've not been nearly as good under Silverfield. And I have seen multiple occasions where this guy in spots like this has shit the bed, where you're starting to build some momentum and you're a big double-digit road favorite against a team you should beat, and that's often where they stumble or have stumbled in the past. It's definitely an FAU spot because Memphis is coming off that huge win against Arkansas last week. Brendan Lewis has fit in well. They've got a good run game, and the concern I would have is that FAU is pretty horrific defensively. So FAU is going to have to score and score in bunches if they're going to hang in this game, but they're capable of doing it. I think the Memphis secondary, this is another team that's going to throw the ball a bit. Florida Atlantic's been able to move the football. The frustrating part for Zach Kitley and quarterback Caden Veltkamp is that they've been able to move the football, but turnovers have killed them. They've been stopped on 4th down a bunch. They've turned it over in the red zone. And it seems like it's happening every week to this Florida Atlantic team. So it's kind of hard to come on here and say, well, if they stop turning it over, when it seems like every week they're turning the ball over. But eventually, at some point, if this team just takes care of the football, FAU is going to have a better chance for success, scoring more points, being in games, covering point spreads. And like I said, just handicapping 101 here is Memphis going on the road laying 14 off the biggest win of their season and maybe one of the biggest wins they've had. So I'm going to give FAU a shot here, plus the points in this game against Memphis, plus 14, minus 110 is the best price out there with that. I also like points in this game. Florida Atlantic plays. There's no team that has snapped the football with a fewer seconds per play clip than Florida Atlantic. Florida Atlantic's like 18 seconds per play, which is like tops in college football. So it's a lot of pace. I think they'll get their points because I don't fully trust the pass defense of Memphis, but Memphis will score too. I mean, FAU does have a pretty bad defense. They just gave up 38 to Florida International, in their last game. So I like the over as well here, Jimmy. Over 62, minus 114.
You are in business. I love the FAU look. I wanted to hear it.
Sounds like that's going to be on your card. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna join you on Florida Atlantic. That's a really nice spot. I like fading teams heading out onto the road after a monster win. Let's roll on. We have Ian Cameron here on Pub Sports Radio. Best bet next up is 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We have the App State Mountaineers 2-1 versus Boise State at Boise State Broncos. We're at Albertson Stadium in Boise, Idaho. Let's get the line history up here. Now, we have App State coming off a pretty shocking loss to Southern Miss, 38-22. They were road favorites, and they got demolished, 38-22. What have they proven this year? It's questionable. But we were very wrong on that early game against Charlotte. I joined you. The market went heavy in Charlotte's favor, and I joined you on that, and App State took care of business. I don't know what App State is right now, and you could say the same thing about Boise State. I mean, who cares? They beat Eastern Washington at home by 37 points. They struggled against Air Force, but they got the job done 49-37. That was coming off of a bye week. Now we have App State coming off of a bye week. App State lose to Southern Miss and then coming off of a bye week. And then Boise coming off their own bye week as 11.5-point favorites. Had opened up at 8.5. They did cover in the end by a hook. Boise State right now is minus 16. This opened up at 15 and within 11 minutes was a 17, a 2-point move immediately. And then got up to 17.5 until there was buyback, a 1.5 of buyback. Let's take a look at the total here for this one from a total perspective. We have this one. We have this one sitting right now at 60.5. This opened up at 60 and it immediately dropped, and it dropped to 59 immediately out of the chute. Then it got all the way up to 61.5. Now it seems to have settled at 60.5. When we take a look at the cash flow, we have 85% of the 85% of the tickets and 90% of the cash on App State. Crazy amount of money and tickets on them. Now we've seen the market move back towards them, but it still hasn't got back to the opening line. 60% of tickets on the over and 89% cash on the over. Ian Cameron, take it away.
I'm going to take App State in this spot. I am, plus the points at Boise. And the reason I'm going to do that is because if you look at that, I didn't like App State. I made it very well known. Didn't like the coaching hire, didn't a lot of things with the program. They looked like they were on the decline last year. I made that very clear. But the more I watched them, AJ Swann's been playing pretty solid for them at quarterback. And, to be honest, their defense has played well. That Southern Miss game, that was all turnovers. Multiple turnovers. There was a pick six in there as well by App State in that game that flipped the game towards Southern Miss completely. If you take some of that away, we saw a situation where, they were able to move the ball, but just a lot of turnovers, a lot of mistakes hurt them. And for Boise State, they're coming off the game against Air Force. It's always physical when you're playing that, triple option, that service academy. Now you're back home, you're laying big points, and Boise's not always been trustworthy as bigger favorites. For App State, it's off a bye week. They haven't played since that loss against Southern Miss. So this does set up pretty nicely here, this particular spot for App State. I will take them plus the 16.5 at minus 105.
App State plus 16.5 at minus 105 for Ian Cameron. We move on to a big one, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. The 17th ranked Alabama Crimson Tide opening up their SEC account at Georgia Bulldogs Sanford Stadium in Athens, Georgia. We capped this game yesterday, and our new friend, Nick Frazier of Water Cooler Talk Sports, moved on Alabama plus 3.5. And that was the overwhelming feeling from cappers in the chat, was to back Alabama, much to our friend Justin McKelvey's chagrin, as he is a Bulldog through and through. This total is a 53. Opened up at 52.5, dropped down to 52, and then climbed back up to 53. When we get to the point spread, we are dealing with a 3. Nick decided to pay for the hook that cost him minus 128 at the time. Right now, this is pretty much a flat 3. It's slightly juiced to Georgia, so it's moved a few cents since yesterday. This opened up at 4 and then moved to 3. And then when we get to the cash flow for this monster football game, we have 66% of tickets on Georgia and 61% of cash on them, 65% of tickets on the over, and 54% of cash. Take it away, Bobano. We are all ears.
It's a great game. It's an excellent game. Alabama has definitely had the better of it against Georgia recently, but do we know how good Alabama is just yet? I don't think we do, because they haven't played anybody good. Wisconsin's not good. They just lost as double-digit favorites to Maryland last week. Alabama beat them, big deal. They beat Monroe, big deal. The one game they played against a decent team was Florida State, and they lost by double digits. So we don't know yet how good Alabama is going into this game. I look at this as I like the over in this game. I've got a small bet on Georgia, but because of the history, because I don't want to lay 3, and the money line's a little too expensive for me to make that official. Like, I have a small Georgia money line bet. I do think they'll win this game. I was impressed with their toughness on the road against Tennessee. They were down, and they found a way to come back and win that game in overtime. Gunnar Stockton, that was kind of like a coming out party for him. Like, we weren't know, could he lead the offense? We always thought maybe he was a game manager. He's no game manager. He played really well in that game to lead Georgia back. That was very impressive. So if it was a little less expensive, because we're talking minus 150, minus 160 now, I'd make Georgia official, but I won't. It's just a small bet. The official bet for me, Jimmy, is over 52, minus 110. These teams just get together. There's points. We've seen it in recent years. There's been high-scoring affairs. I think both teams are as better offensively than defensively. I still have to see Alabama's defense against a good team, because they gave up into the 30s against Florida State. Meanwhile, look, Georgia, I like their offense. I think they'll score on Alabama, but defense did get carved up a little bit by Tennessee, the one good offense that Georgia's played. So I think Alabama gets their points as well with Ty Simpson, who's getting better and better every week. So over 52, minus 110.
You are in business. One game left before we welcome Dabby Cab to the show for the final college football breakdown here with Ian Cameron. 7:45 p.m. Eastern. We have the Kentucky Wildcats. We stay in the SEC for this one. 2-1, 0-1 in the SEC versus the Gamecocks of South Carolina. 0-2 in the SEC. 2-2 on the year. We're at Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, South Carolina. Kentucky comes into this one as obviously a road dog. We watched them lose 30-23 at home to Ole Miss. And they took care of Toledo. They took care of Toledo all right, but it's not been an impressive start to the year. Toledo played them tough. They beat up on a very weak Eastern Michigan squad at home, but they do have the benefit of a bye week coming into this one. Going up against South Carolina, they got absolutely annihilated by Vanderbilt. It was a shocking result, 31-7. And then they had to go to Missouri and face the Tigers as 10.5-point dogs. They did cover, and they were ahead, it was a very low scoring first quarter. They battled in the second quarter, and Missouri, took over late. And it was going into that fourth quarter, South Carolina had the 2018 lead. So let's hear what Bobano thinks about this one. Let's set up the line history and the cash flow here for this 7:45 start. We have South Carolina right now -5.5 at -110. This opened up at 7, so it's gone through the number 6. We know how that is a cash cow situation for Troy Torrence. Wonder what he thinks of this one. We haven't seen too many spots this week in professional or college football that have gone through the 6. Here is one of them. When we get to the total, we have a 46. This is juiced to the over. This opened up at 47.5, so all we've done is drop 1.5 points. And when we get to the cash flow here, we don't have information on the total, but we do know that 52% of the tickets are in South Carolina and 78% of the cash, despite this move against them towards Kentucky. Take it away, Bobano.
Yeah, I'm going to take I'm not a big Kentucky fan, but South Carolina hasn't just been a bad favorite. They've been a really bad favorite. They're 1-4 against the spread as home favorites against FBS opponents since the beginning of last year. They just haven't been great, laying numbers at home. And sometimes you got to bet numbers, not teams. Do I think South Carolina is still a better team than Kentucky? Yes. But the number means they got to win and win by margin. Kentucky's coming off a bye week. I don't think there's any major decline or drop off from Zach Calzada to Cutter Boley, who is going to get his second straight start. Now, this is his first road start against an SEC team, so that's a little worrisome for me. How's Boley going to fare? He's got to protect the football, not make mistakes. But South Carolina's defense is not as good this year. They're really more leaky against the run. Vanderbilt showed that. And Kentucky will look to run the football early and often. They want to run it and ground and pound. And I think Kentucky can have some success. Extend drives, move the chains, keep this game competitive throughout. I don't know about winning, but we're getting a good plus points. We're getting a team off a bye week with extra time to prepare, and we've got an inconsistent Lenora Sellers and South Carolina offense, and a very, in my opinion, a defense that's not as good. They sent a lot of NFL players to the draft on that South Carolina defense from last year, and I think we're going to start to continue to see that this defense is not nearly, as good as they've been, or as nearly as good as they were last year. So I will make Kentucky an official play here. Let me just see what the best current available number is with that. But like I said, I think the key is going to be for the quarterback Boley. Just don't lose the game, okay? Protect the football. Use the run game, because I do believe the run game is going to have a good amount of success here for Kentucky, because, like I said, I don't think that South Carolina team on the defensive line is nearly as stout in the trenches as they were last year. So +6 at -112 for Kentucky.
+6 at -112 for Kentucky, which takes us into our big one at Kyle Field College Station, Texas. So let's welcome our guy. His pops played for these very Aggies. Please welcome our friend Dabby Cab to the show. Dabby Cab, how are you?
I'm doing good, Jimmy. Ian, happy to
What's
be back.
up, Dabby? Good to see you. Things good?
Yeah, going good, man. Can't complain after 2 weeks ago with the Notre Dame. Listen, Jimmy, I brought you guys somebody who I thought was awesome in Nick as an Auburn person, and he has Auburn people around him. Look, I might have a smile on my face and be a nice guy, but I just wanted to be clear. I brought them over here so I can bathe in their tears after this game. Okay.
Yes, Nick Frazier joining us. They live stream all of the Auburn football games. Water Cooler Talk Sports. He was a class act and a great guy and a welcoming voice. We're happy to have him here on the channel and look forward to more of Nick. He moved on Auburn money line at +197, as well as the over 52.5. Let's set this one up.
I agree with him on one. I disagree with him on one. We'll see which one it is in a moment.
Let's talk about it. Auburn Tigers 0-1 in the SEC at the number 9 ranked Texas A&M Aggies, 3-0, opening up their SEC account. They have been extremely impressive to get the season started. The Aggies have. And what do they have in store for Auburn? This total is a 53. This got up to 53.5, but dropped to 53. You can still find 52.5s on the total. They're still widely available. On the point spread here for this monster game on Saturday afternoon, we have the 6.5 that was available to Nick. This opened up at 7.5, and it lasted at 7.5 for 20 minutes before it blew through 7 and closed at 6.5, which is where it has stayed for the duration. When we get to the cash flow for A&M and Auburn, we talked about this yesterday. I had it right here. I mean, moving around with it. Let's just see if I can find it quickly with all these games going on. We have 56% of the tickets and 61% of the cash on Auburn. 75% of tickets on the over and 61% of cash on the over. Ian Cameron, Tigers, Aggies, a monster football game on Saturday afternoon. Take it away.
I'll never bet A&M again as a favorite if they don't get it done here on Saturday. I'll never again, because they are a bad favorite under Mike Elko. They have not been good, laying points. I like them getting points, like they were against Notre Dame, but they have not been a great favorite. That being said, this is a really tough spot for Auburn. They're coming off the physical game with Oklahoma last week. They lose it in heartbreaking fashion because they were in it pretty much the whole way, end up falling short. The safety, which just crushed anyone that took the points with Auburn there. Terrible beat if you had Auburn in that game. But they fall 24-17 to Oklahoma. Now you got to go on the road. Second straight road game in the tough SEC. Very, very difficult. Meanwhile, here's A&M off a bye week. Extra time to prepare following the win against Notre Dame. If this game was last week, and Auburn's playing A&M, I'm concerned about the emotional hangover of the thrilling win against Notre Dame for the Aggies. But I think the fact that they've had the bye week, is going to help reset the focus where it needs to be for this game against Auburn on Saturday. When you look at the matchup, I love what I'm seeing offensively, certainly from A&M. Marcel Reed's certainly taken a big step throwing the football. I think his accuracy, his decision-making has gotten a lot better. Obviously, they've had a pretty solid run game so far as well, 4.7 yards per carry, 157 rushing yards per game. Auburn's run defense has been very good. Their pass defense has struggled. And because I have more faith in Marcel Reed's arm and the aerial attack now with him under center, I think they can move the ball through the air here against Auburn. The concern is going to be A&M's defense if you're going to lay the points with them, which I have, because it's not been very good. It hasn't been. There's real issues on this defense, and they're going to have to shore it up. But this is a bit of a step down as far as offensive competition. The Auburn offense, and Jackson Arnold in particular, hasn't been phenomenal by any stretch of the imagination outside of Baylor and South Alabama. And this will probably be a tougher challenge here. Struggled a bit against Oklahoma. So we'll see how he fares. Like I said, I just think there's a much better spot situational advantage here for A&M. So I will take A&M here. Like I said, I normally do not lay points with this football team because they have historically not been a good favorite, especially here since Mike Elko's been at the controls. Like, you go back and look, the numbers as a favorite are bad. So this does concern me a bit, but I just think it's too difficult a spot for Auburn playing on the road back-to-back weeks. So I will take Auburn -5.5, -110. And the other...
You mean the Aggies?
Yeah, sorry, Texas A&M. Yeah, Texas A&M -5.5, -110. And I will take over 52.5, -110. I mean, actually the best price out there, let me just scroll down. Yeah, over 52 at -114 is the best number that I'm seeing out there right now. I'm just riding the overs with A&M until it stops gashing. because I think there's still a lot of holes. There's still a lot of weaknesses on defense. I've got this in the range of, 34-20, something like that in this game in favor of A&M, where I think Auburn's going to score a little bit because they're too leaky right now on defense, A&M. I don't think they'll shut down Auburn completely, but I think A&M's offense will work here against a tired, physically weary. I mean, that was a physical football game. Anybody that watched Auburn, Oklahoma last week, that was a physical football game. And you're going to be a little bit physically weary, exhausted coming off a game like that. And now you got to go on the road for a second straight week to College Station. That is not easy. So I think you could really see Auburn wear down in the second half. So A&M laying the points and also over the total for me.
Over 52 and A&M minus 5.5. Dabby Cab, your pops has got to be proud of what he's seeing on the field from this year's Aggies squad, ranked number 9 overall and looking ahead at the college football playoffs. Take it away for us. We had Nick Frazier talking about Auburn being able to move the ball on the ground against the A&M Aggies, and that was one of his points of emphasis. Take it away, Dabby Cab. Huge one at Kyle Field.
Yeah, my dad was at that Notre Dame A&M game, said one of the best football games he's ever had the chance to be a part of, even though, he played in games. So great time to be there. Listen, there are problems on the defensive side for A&M, and I do think Auburn will be able to move the football. Just because they're able to move the football doesn't mean that they're going to be able to put up the type of points that I think A&M is going to put up. So before I start chasing down rabbits, trying to talk about all the points I have on this, because, I've got so much I want to say, so I'll try and condense it. I'll give you my bets. Look, I'm going to be on Le'Veon Moss, anytime touchdown, plus A&M money line. Right now, that would come in at plus 132. I'm never going to tell you guys something until my actual money's on it. I cannot get the anytime touch. I can't put the bet together right now, okay? The moment I can, though, I'm going to. So that is an official bet. But just for transparency, my money's not on it, but the absolute moment that my money can be put on it, it will be. I'm just waiting for it to be available. So Moss anytime touchdown, A&M to win the football game. Right now it's plus 132. I do want to take Cobb as well. Jeremiah Cobb on the Auburn side. I was on him last week, and he got, barely got there, but he did get it all in one run against Oklahoma. I think it's 54.5. I got to look again. Another one that I can't bet, Jimmy, just yet, but the moment that I can, I'm going to. So you can go ahead and take Jeremiah Cobb as official, and I'll tell you the number that I get the moment that I get it. The reason I'm on Cobb is because I think Auburn is going to have to try and get back to their identity a little bit in this football game. They tried taking the shots with Jackson Arnold against Oklahoma, and it was fun to watch. As I was watching that football game, I'm sitting there like, hey, keep taking these shots. You'll open up the run game. And he just kept missing them, man. Arnold, whether it was underthrown, overthrown, he missed so many opportunities. Like, we can talk about, the penalties or the overturned touchdown or the not called penalty. I know there was a lot of bullshit in the game, but there were also a lot of things that Auburn just did not execute on. Like Arnold hitting the deep ball is one of the main ones here. I think they get back to their identity of trying to run the football against A&M, and that is why I really like the Jeremiah Cobb prop. The reason I think A&M still wins this football game is because I've got it just like Ian. I put it at 31-24 A&M. That if I guess the score of this game, that's where I'm going to put it, because A&M, I think, gets, in the 30s. Their team total is 29.5. I see them getting in the 30s, and I do not see Auburn getting there, even though they're going to move the ball. I just don't see it happening here. I think this defense for Mike Elko, they're going to have to make a couple stops. They're still going to get, they're going to bend but don't break type of thing here. I think Elko's going to have some stuff drawn up. I've heard people talking about how A&M isn't able to run the ball like they have. They ran the ball 8 times in their first game, okay, against UTSA. They didn't even try and run the football. Same thing against Utah State. They didn't try and run the football. And then against Notre Dame, the majority of the football game, they were playing catch up, right? They were down early in the first quarter. Even though they were up at half, they quickly got down in the third quarter. So that was a catch up football game. If they have to run the ball, if they have a lead, right, they can still run the football. I promise you that. This A&M offensive line is for real. Le'Veon Moss, Amari Daniels, all these guys in the backfield, Owens, all these guys are, outstanding, and they haven't even tapped into their potential. A&M loses this football game last year. They lose this football game 2 years ago. They lose this football game 5 years ago. There will be no letdown here. They understand what's at stake. They have to win this football game. This has been the story of A&M forever. They get a little bit of momentum. They get a little bit of national attention, probably get overhyped, attention that they don't deserve. And then they go out there and they lay a fucking egg. It is the story of A&M over and over again. Elko has this team right. Craver, Concepcion, Reed, Moss, this offense is going to put up as many points as it takes to win the football game. I promise.
There were 62 points in regulation before it got to overtime when these teams met last year in Jordan-Hare. In Auburn, 62 points. It ended 43-41 Auburn. It was an absolute classic. It was a heartbreaker if you were cheering for A&M that day. And that's another thing that you have to factor in. They remember that game, I'm sure, from last year.
Absolutely, because you've got several of the you got 8 of the 11 players on defense still. Well, not anymore, injuries, but you've got a lot of returning players that played in that football game. So that's a very good point.
Great breakdown, fellas. Bobano on A&M -5.5, -110 in the over 52. Dabby Cab on Moss, anytime touchdown, A&M money line +132. And Jeremiah Cobb over 54.
Revenge off a bye, playing great football. Auburn in a tough spot, back-to-back roadie. I know they suck as a favorite, A&M. Like I said, never again as a favorite if they let me down here.
Excellent work, fellas. Thank you guys so much for joining us here for college football. We're going to head back to the Diamond. So Bobano, my man, thank you. Sorry to keep you for extra time here.
Good.
Thank you for being so gracious.
I had an extra 30 minutes today. All good.
Thank you so much, my man. Please support the Hitting the Books YouTube channel. Ice Guys back in business as well, and the NBA OG show on the way. Tell us a little bit about the Ice Guys back in business and what's going on the Hitting the Books YouTube channel.
Yeah, we got our season preview videos that we're recording and posting on the Patreon page, and the live show 7 days a week begins next Tuesday, October 7th for opening night, although we will have live preview shows for the season. Eastern Conference Friday, October the 4th, and then Western Conference Monday, October 6th for the Ice Guys. And, of course, Hitting the Books with Connor Mack. We'll do Friday shows on the channel for the members of the membership people of the channel for NFL, college football moving forward. And, of course, we've got our Monday college football Hitting the Books show, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. 3 hours of college football analysis on Mondays, me and Connor Mack. So make sure you check that out. Dabby Cab, way too long. It's been good to see you. Jimmy, good luck to you. Good luck to you, Dabby Cab. Good luck to everyone in the chat. Let's have a great week, and we'll see you next week.
There he is, Mr. Ian Cameron. Dabby Cab, it's great to have you back in business, my man. Great breakdown. Looking forward to what you have in store for us tomorrow. So stay in touch with me as to what games you want to hammer. Thank you for your time, my man.
And we don't cut out Friday, so I can go back to games that y'all have already done if I want to get bets out, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. One last thing. Oklahoma's offense is not good. Their defense is good, but I'm just going to tell you guys that offense is not good. Oklahoma's a very overhyped football team. I'm very glad that Auburn was able to stay in the game, but Oklahoma sucks, and y'all are going to figure that out soon. So much love, Jimmy. Thank you, guys. I'll see y'all soon.
There he is, Dabra Kadabra in the house. All right, we get back to the Diamond, and we got to move quickly. Our college football capping went a little long, so we don't have our next guest for long enough. But we have him right now, star of Pub Sports Radio. He was the co-host of Walk Off Wagers, which we hope to have again next year. He's also one of the stars of the Sauce Network with Kyle Kerms. Please welcome our friend Morgan Spooner to the telecast. Spoondog, what's happening, man? How are you?
Doing well, Jimmy. Good afternoon. Great capping. It was fun to hear the college breakdowns. What do you think of that first game, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, with the weather? I have that under 8.5 with you. Do you think this bodes well?
I do.
Or poorly for it?
I do. I think this all bodes well. For me, the early start is sometimes too early. It wouldn't have surprised me at all if these young guys like Ashcraft and Lodolo were pretty thankful for the little bit of extra time, to get loose. So 12:40 when the 12:40 p.m. is pushed a little bit, I don't think that hurts the starting pitchers. I do think it gets the batters out of rhythm. So I'm very comfortable with it at this point, and this move towards the under should bode well for us. I'm pretty excited. What about you?
Sometimes I worry about just where it pushes the pitcher back. Being the early start, I think that is better than a later start, but gives me a little pause for concern. I also don't like seeing the 7.5s on the board. Just when you move through that full run, it's just a scary territory.
Yeah, I know, but we should. I know, I get it, and we used to have Mikey Money when it would go down the full run. He would bet go up against it, but it shouldn't. Like, shouldn't we just get more confident that we were, that the books are this concerned? But I hear you. It's for whatever reason our ROI doesn't go up in these circumstances, so I can understand the trepidation here. Let's roll on because we don't have you for very long, Spoondog. Let's attack, my friend. You ready to rock?
Yeah, let's go.
We start 2:35 p.m. Eastern with the Minnesota Twins 68-90, 30-47 on the road. Texas Rangers 80-78, 48-32 at home. By the way, Kong says, for the record, I've had 2 Lodolo starts pushed back, and I think I lost both strikeout props. Interesting, Kong. Interesting. I'm that he's my concern. But again, I took a long last night. I spent time going over all the teams because he's only had 4 starts since coming back from the IL, and the losses have come against teams that smash left-handed pitching. The Pirates
down in competition there.
Yeah, but here we go. Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. The tricky Tyler Mahle on the hill. This guy has been absolutely spectacular at home. So why did the market create a situation where I couldn't back him? 9 starts, 48 2/3. He's not allowed 1 home run. He has a 178 opponent's batting average. He's allowed 4 earned runs in 48 2/3. His splits are very strong. The Twins aren't hitting righties. Either are the Rangers, for that matter. Twins last 30 days, 226, 693 OPS. Rangers 243, 692 OPS. The Rangers bullpen at this point is allowing 3.48 less runs over 9 innings than the Twins bullpen. Every single thing here pointing towards the Rangers, but the market wasn't complying. Bailey Ober, 5-9, 5.32 ERA, 1.33 whip. He's a pitcher that I've liked historically. He's been god-awful this year. 5 innings, 8 hits, 6 earned runs, and an 8-0 loss at home versus the Guardians last out. He has been bad at home, and he's been bad on the road. On the road, opponents are hitting 314 against him. Everybody who lines up against Ober on the road is Robbie Alomar. Lefty's hitting 288, 10 OPS. Righty's hitting 288, 41 OPS. So here we go. Let's take a quick look at the... Oh, we don't need to do that because it's probably too hot. Let's just see what the temp... No, it's not. This roof should be open. 82 Fahrenheit. God, it's supposed to be open. Right? The rules are if it's between 70 and 85 Fahrenheit, they open the roof.
You're correct. I'll see quick if I can find a official.
Wow. That would change things. So if that is the case, let's see if Ballpark Pal then has this roof open here, and they don't expect it open. But I thought that was the rule. Those were the rules. So we'll see. They have the roof closed. I don't want to get too caught up in the weather, but of course it is an important part of the cap because this ball just doesn't fly when that roof is closed. So here we go. From a line history standpoint, we have here we go. From a line history standpoint, right now the Rangers are minus 140. I mean, this has not moved from the opening line despite all the X's and O's pointing us in that direction. Is that because the Rangers don't care and have given up? Usually this is a time of year that I take advantage of, but getting crushed yesterday has got me a little shook. We have this total opening up at 7.5 juice to the under. It must be open because at 12:07 p.m. there was a 20-cent move to the over. Isn't that a move where the pros realize that not realize but hear that the roof's going to be open?
I see a X post from Globe Life Field. It's not an official account, but they go through and list the roof status multiple days. It says roof open for today. They posted it an hour ago. That pretty much correlates with that time. So
doesn't it?
I'm going to say it is open.
Wow. That is a twist when we get to... Now, I don't want to rely too much or put too much emphasis into it, but it is important. You have 59% of tickets on the under and 93% of cash on the over. I don't think there's a huge amount of cash bet on this game. 72% of tickets on the Rangers, 76% cash. Here we go. Take it away for us, Boondog.
I really like Tyler Mahle. Looking at his stats, all of those were accumulated at home with the roof closed, though. So this park does play quite a bit differently. This is also just his second start back off the IL. Looked really sharp versus Miami. Pitched 4 2/3, didn't give up an earned run. This Twins lineup, I think he can pitch pretty well too. He's really dominant at getting lefties out. Doesn't really struggle with righties, but they hit decent off him. But Bailey Ober on the other side, even with Texas's lineup missing quite a few bats, I think they get runs off of him. I think Texas money line is the spot, but the way the market's reacted to the money that's come in, I mean, you have 72% of the tickets, 76% of the cash, and this line has come down, moved towards the Twins. So it doesn't give me any confidence to move on it. I still think Texas wins, and I think this is an over spot possibly, because if Ober is liable to give up runs and Mahle's numbers are inflated because of the roof being shut for all of those stats that we're looking at, you could about guarantee he's not going to pitch that well at home over the course of the full season, even missing part of it due to injury. I think the Twins probably get runs too, so I like that over. There's a couple 7.5s left. Most of the public books are all at 8. I'm not going to move on it, but I also think that's the side.
I am going to move on it.
The over 7.5?
Yeah, but
what can you get?
It's too. It looks like it's going to be too. I can't get a 7.5. I have to get an 8. But I'm going to get it. I'm going to bet it. This is just the difference is massive. These teams don't care. Now you get a beautiful day outdoors. Even if this is like a no score through 3, I'm gonna live bet the over. So these bullpens are trash. I just bet it. -110, over 8, and I'm in business. Okay, I haven't tweeted out. I will at some point. I guess the game does start for 54 minutes. Let's roll. The psychology behind this next game I want to discuss here. Sutter Health Park in Sacramento, California. Did the Astros season turn when Framber Valdez threw at his catcher?
There's probably a lot of truth to that. They've been on just an absolute tailspin since that happened. I mean, that's just a huge riff in the locker room like that. This guy's supposed to be one of your leaders out there, not making issues for the entire team. I think this is an athletic spot. When I was looking at this game last night, there was no lines for it. I was trying to picture where they would open Framber Valdez on the road versus a guy like JT Ginn. I didn't expect them to have such a short line here. I was thinking this would be closer to 130 Astros opening. So that takes some of the immediate athletics money that would have come in on that out of it. I wanted to move on the athletics, but I mean, the tickets, the cash, everything's on them pretty heavily. And we haven't seen this line move at all at really the sharp books. 1 cent at circa from -101 to -102 for the athletics. With all that cash and tickets on them, especially a dog at home, I would expect them to care more about that. So I didn't end up getting there, but I do like the athletics. Framber probably has a good game left in him, but it's been like a month now of just really bad Framber starts. 5 runs to Seattle, 5 to Atlanta, 5 to Texas, 6 to New York. Pitched 1 good game versus Colorado, 7 to Detroit. Baltimore tagged him, New York tagged him, Boston tagged him. Every time he goes out there, and this athletics lineup is really good. I think they get runs off him. I think the over could be live as well, but I like how JT Ginn matches up with this Astros lineup. I didn't see anything about Pena yet, if he will be in the lineup. He's an important bat that they need to be successful. Their last little losing streak kind of correlated with him getting injured again and leaving the lineup. Obviously, Alvarez is still out of the lineup. I really do like the Athletics. I think the market should react more to having that much money on him.
And he's not in the confirmed lineup. Altuve, Paredes, Correa, Caratini, Walker, sorry here. Sorry, let me click here. Jesus Sanchez, Cole, Trammell. So we do have a confirmed lineup, and Dubon there. So again, Altuve, Paredes, Correa, Caratini, Walker, Sanchez, Cole, Trammell, Dubon. Pretty weak Astros lineup. For the Athletics, Langoliers, Wilson, Soderstrom, Rooker, Colby Thomas, Nick Kurtz, Hernandez, Harris, and McIver playing catcher and turning this lineup over. There's been 5 cents of movement towards the under. Opened up minus 105 to the under. Now it's minus 110 to the under. On the money line here, we have Ginn at plus 100. Ginn and the Athletics at plus 100. Opened up at plus 102. We had here, BJ in with best bets. I will copy and paste those. Thank you, BJ, my man. When we get to the cash flow here for this Valdez Ginn start, 56% of the tickets on the Athletics and 84% of the cash. And this line not really moving. 62% of tickets on the under and 73% of cash on that under. Ginn is pitching better. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He was a highly thought of prospect, and that kind of went away. But that was a really nice start at the Red Sox at Fenway. 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, walked 1 batter. He only struck out 3, and that's not his MO. He's just becoming a pitcher. He's not a thrower anymore. He's being smart out there because he's 95 strikeouts and 86 2/3. So it's strange to see him not strike out a ton. At home this year he has struggled, but it's a difficult place to pitch, Sutter Health Park in Sacramento, California. And we talk about when you want to fade Ginn, it's when he's going up against a bunch of lefties. Now Caratini's a switch, but your number 1, 2, 3, and 5 are right-handed batters, and then you have Sanchez, Cole, and Trammell as the lefties. And it's a pretty easy spot. As Spooner said, no Pena in the lineup. But this line's not moving, and the A's are hitting lefties hard. Is Framber Valdez going to step up and say, look, I'm not the problem? I don't know. This is a tricky spot, and I mean, obviously, the A's seem like they should be the play.
Is it not moving just because they built that into the initial opening line? Do you think minus 115 should have been an opener here? Do you think it should have been more expensive than that?
No. I think this opened at the right line. So it's now just going to close at we deem the right line, which means this is a sharp line. I don't think are we at the point right now where you're like, stick a fork in the Astros, they're done? We're not. I mean,
you told me a month and a half ago that the Astros were on a tailspin. The season was just about over, and Framber was going into Sacramento to pitch. I would have told you I thought he could find a way to pitch pretty well, and the Astros would win that game. But time has passed, and I mean, he's not pitching well. He's frustrated. He's taking his frustrations out on his teammates. There's psychology and everything. Do you want to play for that guy that's on the mound today?
No, but he could step up. If Detroit loses, the Astros and Tigers are tied for the final wild card spot. I mean, I do not want to be involved in this. I can understand Capper's backing the Athletics. We've seen Framber Valdez step up so many times. And look, he's not doing it down the stretch. Irish King on the Astros. Mr. Tomatoes on the Astros. Mark says, yes, the Houston sports are a mess right now. Talk Sports with JT says, yes, put a fork in them. They're done. I'm not involved here, and I want to take advantage of these last 15 minutes that I've got you here. So I'm letting the Astros Athletics game go. Letting it go. You are as well?
Yeah, I don't want the Athletics. This market's not right for it.
So we roll on here to Dodgers Diamondbacks. Now, it's interesting. This is a tricky spot with Jalen Beeks being the opener, but I've got Nabil Chrismat as the primary. Mm-hmm. So does everybody's on the same page with the going Beeks Chris Matt. Okay, good. Okay, we're at Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. Another spot where now I guess we should check here exactly what the weather is, if it's cool enough. Oh, God, no. Triple digits, of course. It's in Arizona. Okay, so roof closed. Yoshinobu Yamamoto going up against Beeks and Chris Matt, who both have pretty good numbers this year. Beeks 5-2, 3.67 ERA, 1.08 WHIP, 46 Ks and 56 and a third, but he's only going to throw the one inning. Dodgers are hitting lefties a little harder than they're hitting righties. 268, 775 OPS. Dodgers versus righties 249, 758. Chris Matt is a righty. Chris Matt's looked great through 31 innings, 23 strikeouts, 7 walks, 1.29 WHIP. JW says D-back still in the race. JW looking at the plus 145 for the Diamondbacks. The Dodgers right now, here we go. Sorry to pull up the Dodgers situation. They win and clinch. They win and clinch the West. So this is a huge game for them. Win and clinch, celebrate. And Yamamoto's on the mound. And I loved what he did in game 2 after faced the Giants in back-to-back games, and he just wouldn't let them beat him. He wouldn't let them. He was like, look, I'll walk you. I'll walk. If I'm not going to give you what you're looking for. And he just didn't, 7 strikeouts and 6 walks. He doesn't allow him to run. He only allows 1 hit. I was really, really impressed with the performance. Dab Fence says bases loaded, no outs, and the Orioles don't score. I mean, that's a recipe for a disaster, but also shows what Rasmussen's all about. But here on the road, Yamamoto's been better than he's been at home. 25 earned runs and 17 starts. The season here to win the division is staring at them. They have to want to get this job done right here and right now. We have the Dodgers at minus 153. They opened up minus 145. This line moved towards them in a heavy way. This was minus 170 at 11:15 in the morning. It's a pretty powerful move back. What are you going to say, my man?
Really quick on that, talking about the moves. So I believe when this line first came out, it was inferred that Zach Gallen was the starter for the Arizona Diamondbacks. The book that I like to track took this off the board like 1:30 a.m., opened it back up at 170, and then came down to 162 for the Dodgers. So like their opening line of 147 to 162 is moving. That would be backing the Dodgers. But since Chris Matt came in, I think the money switched over to Arizona money coming in. Yeah, because I had, there were cappers that thought that Gallen was then going to be the primary, so that they were just going to use an opener and Gallen would be the primary. That's why I was concerned, because I have it all set up for Nabil, Chris Matt. Ron Crawford, if you are listening to this on stereo, you might want to turn this down. I have to give the warning now so people don't blow out their speakers. Ron Crawford, Dodgers, spreadsheet play today on the -1 line. Shout out to our guy, Ronnie Crawford. Ron Crawford! Cappers contest lines are open right now. They are open for the Cappers contest. And we have our co-leader here with us, Morgan Spooner, 11-4 thus far. 2 games up on myself. I am anxiously awaiting your picks. I know that some people don't like that we have to get them in by Saturday night, 9 p.m., but it's fun because then you get to see what everybody's on. And it gets way, way more important as we get closer into the season. So here we go. Let's take a look at the cash flow. And again, there obviously was a lot more interest in the Dodgers maybe there was a lot more interest in, I don't know. Look, Zach Gallen is a tricky pitcher, but let me just tell you that 55% of tickets are on Arizona, 57% of cash is on the Dodgers, 70% of tickets are on the under, and 80% of cash is on the under. How does Yamamoto not say, look, I'm him? I'm on Dodgers -1 as well. I think he does come out here and say I'm him. What have we seen from him recently that hasn't been just absolutely elite starting pitching? Going back his last 5 games, 2 earned run to San Diego, 1 to Arizona, went 8 2/3 versus Baltimore. That was that no-hitter that got broken up. San Francisco 1 earned run in the first start, and then the second start 0 earned runs. And as you talked about, he's not scared to walk people if he needs to. There's only a couple good bats in this Arizona Diamondbacks lineup at this point in the season. If you're looking for fun player props, just take Marte, walk, just anybody in the top of that order there, Carroll, because I don't think Yamamoto is going to give them anything to hit today. He's going to find a way to go 6-7 innings in this game. The Dodgers bullpen is the only thing that gives me pause for concern, but I'm not a big Crismac guy. I think the Dodgers lineup will have a heyday with him. That's a guy that's out of the Padres system, I believe. I think this is just a Dodgers spot. The only thing that's concerning me at this point, when I moved at this, it was Dodgers minus 150 is what I used for my money line. I saw 5-cent move towards the Dodgers with a really good pitcher and Gallen on the mound. Yamamoto, Dodgers need to win this to lock it up. It made sense, but with Crismac now, Arizona money coming in, I would expect more money just to pile on the Dodgers once Yamamoto is facing a worse pitcher in combination with Beeks. So that tells me some people believe that the Diamondbacks maybe just shouldn't be that big of a dog. Maybe that's all that it means, but I'm just a little more concerned than I was going to sleep with this bet.
I think that's fair. Phil Kill says Dodgers bullpen is terrifying. I think that's fair. I think that's all valid. When did we know about the pitching change?
So I want to say it was somewhere between 1 to 2 o'clock a.m. Eastern time this morning. I would assume it's closer to 1, but Circa took it down at 1:36.
This doesn't correlate properly. Gorky says 12 hours ago. It doesn't correlate properly, but Yamamoto, I want to bet on him here to clinch today. And I'm going to. This is not what got me in trouble yesterday. I mean, we both had rough days, and you had CLV and everything. I mean, this is not what's got me in trouble. So I'm going to Yamamoto goes and seals the deal here. I mean, I get the line too. I mean, the Diamondbacks are playing great baseball. They're 6 games over 500 home. Remember, this is an under 500 team on the road. I'm going to bet this right now. We don't have you for much longer, and I want to get this out. Do you mind setting up Marlins Phillies for us, Spooner? And then, you know what? Set up Marlins Phillies, and then give us the rest of your card, and I will be copying. I know you already sent it out to us, but so if you don't mind, because I want to take advantage of this and I want to get my action out.
Yeah, Miami Marlins and Philadelphia Phillies, Jansen Junk, Walker Buehler on the mound. Ticket market in this, you have 76% of the tickets on the over, 83% of the cash on that over. This opened at a 9. Some books have moved it to a 9.5, but there's still a lot of 9s out there. Ton of money on the over. I am as well. 50% of the tickets on Philadelphia, but 90% of the cash on the Miami Marlins. The line movement in this game, there hasn't been a ton of. Circa opened this exactly where it is right now, and same with the total. Little concerning seeing that much money on the over and absolutely no move to it. I don't have the weather up in front of me anymore, but I believe there's a pretty decent chance for rain in this game.
I can give you that right now. My book right now says it's going to, or not my book, but Swish says there won't be rain till after the game. But I'll double check that. So it has 79 Fahrenheit, 9 miles per hour out to right center. And there's no issue, no possible weather delay or rain out on the top. And then Ballpark Pal here for Citizens Bank plus 16%, plus 48% home runs, minus 5% doubles and triples, minus 3% singles.
Yeah, I was looking at that super offensive weather last night. I see Jansen Junk pitched really well versus Texas in his last start, went 7 innings pitched, just 3 hits, no walks, 1 earned run. Really great start, but the 9 starts before that, he'd given up 3 earned runs or more in every single one of them, and not against great lineups either. So I think Philadelphia Phillies can get runs off him. Jansen Junk struggles with lefties, and that's what the Phillies have like all their best bats are hit from the left-hand side. He's really good when you can face a bunch of righties in a lineup, and that's basically what Texas's lineup is shaped like right now. So it's not a huge surprise he pitched well there. But on the opposite side, Walker Buehler, change of venues, looked like it's been pretty good for him. He's had two pretty decent starts for him. Didn't go deep in his last one. Just 3 2/3 innings, 0 earned runs. And Kansas City Royals, he went 5 innings pitched, 1 earned run. Before that, though, this season, this guy's been getting hit up. The road is the road, and he still has a 6.12 ERA on the road for the full season. I think this Marlins lineup is more than capable of tagging him for a couple runs. I think Phillies get more than 2 off Jansen Junk. I still like this over. I am now closer to just cashing out the ticket. I have a decent price on the over 9, but I need to see that move to 9.5 here before, if I'm going to keep it.
Yeah, I believe in Walker Buehler right now. I really do. Being ditched, saying all the right things. I think he pitches himself onto the roster. I want to back him here, but obviously this is a I don't care spot for the Phillies. Do you think the I don't care spot is a real issue?
Well, I think a lot of people think that 90% of the cash on the Marlins on the road, and absolutely no movement to that 90% of the cash. I like Walker Buehler here too. At the same time, best case scenario, he goes out there, pitches 5 innings, no earned runs. Maybe he goes out there for a 6th. I don't know if he's stretched out enough to be able to do that again. This is a tough game. It opened at -170 with a team that doesn't really need to win, and a Marlins team that's just won a bunch of games they had no business winning all season. If you like the Phillies, you should feel very confident that this line hasn't moved a penny towards the Marlins with all that cash on them.
Now, this was not a division clinch hangover spot, Steve. They clinched the division long ago. So the only thing that was clinched was the 2nd seed, I believe. Right? Was there a celebration last night after the Phillies game, Spoon?
I don't believe so.
Uh-huh.
I didn't watch the Phillies game last night though, so I can't attest that.
Steve,
honest.
do you know something because I don't know why there would have been any sort of celebration. Oh, they clinched the first round bye. I think, can we get some, because this is a tricky spot here, and I'm going to spend some time waxing on the spot. So, and I know we don't have you for much longer, and I apologize to everybody who wants to have Spooner breaking down baseball that we took extra time on college football, and I apologize. I want to back Walker Buehler here, and I think he's going to be a useful asset to the Phillies here. We have a 5-cent move to the Marlins. And of course, it's the rhetoric that the Phillies have nothing to play for. Why do they care? As we heard from Spooner, he wants to see a 9.5. This opened up at 9 yesterday afternoon, where we used to play poker at -120. Now it's -125. So just the 5 cents of movement. When you get to the cash flow here, we have, here we go. We have 50% of the tickets on Philadelphia and 90% of the cash on the Marlins. 71% tickets on the over and 83% cash on the over. And, Jansen Junk coming off a beautiful start at the Rangers, but you touched on, why that happened. This is a pitcher who struggles against lefties and shuts down righties. And do we think Harper is going to be in the lineup tonight?
If they've locked up that second bye, I don't think they really have a realistic shot at the first one now. I wouldn't be surprised to see a bat or two missing from the lineup.
So do you think the best move here, Harper's being 6 at Sports Adventure, is to not bet this until the lineup is announced?
Yeah.
The lineup will be weak. I'm still going to back Walker Buehler.
I'm starting to find more ways to get to the under in this game, especially if we can trust Buehler to go out there and pitch 5 or 6 good innings. I don't want that over 9 on my for the show today. I think I'm going to cash that bet out here soon. I haven't actually tweeted out my action. I was waiting to go through a few more spots, but I'm going to leave that off. I don't want to bet it.
Buehler has allowed 1 earned run in 8 2/3 in the Philadelphia Phillies uniform. Nobody believes in him. And maybe it's the right spot for him. Now, this probably isn't the right lineup for him because lefties have hit him very hard this year. We have Marcy, Edwards, who's switched left and left, Liam Hicks, Conine, and Johnston, but that's not murderer's row. So I'm interested. Very, very, very interested, but I think we wait. Sports Investor says all the runs last night make it hard to bet the over, but the humidity here generates offense. So I am going to be on the Phillies, but I want the lineup to come out. I want it to move more to the Marlins. I want people to use this. The Phillies don't care because I know Walker Buehler cares very much. And if there's if the Schwarber is out too, is that possible? That's possible, right?
It's the end of the season. This the only thing you can compare it to is spring training. You don't really know what's going to happen till you get in the middle of the game. And then as soon as the game starts, those lineups can change. Walker Buehler gets tagged for 4 or 5 early runs. You see some Phillies bats just go sit in the dugout and mop-up duty comes in. I'm not saying that's what I think is going to happen, but it's closer to spring training than it is playoff baseball when you're looking at a game like this.
Yeah. I'm going to need more time. I'm going to need lineups and time. But if some of these left-handed bats are out of the Phillies lineup, then Jansen Junk will have a good start. The under is very much in play. If the left-handed power bats are in the lineup, then Jansen Junk then the Marlins will lose this baseball game, I predict. But I want to understand what the hell's going on with the lineups and then move on it. So that is what I'm going to do at this point.
For the rest of my card, I have the Royals money line -108. I have that Dodgers -1, -116. The Pirates Reds under 8.5 -115, and I moved on the Mets money line -108.
What did you get the Royals at?
-108.
So Royals and Mets are -108.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, touch on. I know that you're tight for time, so whatever you'd like to hit, my friend.
And then that Phillies Marlins, I have an over 9 at -107. It's a valuable ticket right now, so I don't want to just cash it out. I think I'm going to wait, see what happens with lineups, but I don't really have a good feeling about that. And I think there's a decent chance I cash out of it before the game starts. I don't have really anything else for the day. Good luck with the rest of the card. Sorry that we didn't have a little bit more time, but it's hard here in the middle of the day for me. Good luck to everybody in the chat. Good luck with your action. Let's win some baseball today. I know you had a rough day too yesterday, Jimmy, so we're going to bounce back today.
I hope so. We love you, Spooner, my man. Go get that cash. Morgan Spooner here in the house. And we bring in a ringer to help us cap the rest of the MLB card. Our friend, the backbone of the channel. Please welcome Wesley Snips. How are you, my friend?
I'm a tired boy. I'm not going to lie, Jimmy. My body hurts. I think I'm getting sick. And I look forward to infecting everyone on my plane tomorrow to North Carolina. So if you see me flying tomorrow and you're on my plane, just know the sickness is coming for you.
Well, that's great. That's great. You're an asset to society.
I am trying to spread my disease one plane ride at a time.
Nasty Nate. One thing I want to talk about here with the Orioles-Rays game. We saw the big market move towards the Orioles, and it seemed to make no sense. And so when I sent the message, because we heard Bobano on the Rays, I sent a message to TJ because clearly the market had moved pretty drastically. And the reply was this. I said, don't we have to, really deeply consider moving on the Orioles, even though it doesn't fit any of our X's and O's? And he said the time of the big move was when the Tampa Bay lineup came out, and it was very weak. At that point, it's not sharp money moving it, and that is crucial. So when you see a 25 or 30-cent move, look at what time it came out at, because that was exactly what I wanted to hear. I did not want to go against X's and O's and move on them. So a very shrewd message from TJ, one that we must keep in mind here. Let's see. Do we get out of this first inning? We have a runner on in Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. I'm very concerned. 0-2 count. Uh-oh. Oh, God. I thought it was Gonzo. All right. We are out of the inning. Looked like it was Gonzo. All right. Lodolo gets rolling. Okay, we roll on. But before we do, I've got Spooner's action here. Before we do, Jose, have you moved on any of these early games? Jose.
There we go. Great start. I haven't. I was semi-interested in my man Jansen Junk against Walker Buehler. When
my guy Walker Buehler.
Yeah, you can fucking have him.
Oh, I do.
You can fucking have him because I don't want him today.
His first start of the Phillies was cash in my pocket.
I hope the second one is too. By the way, I will commend the Red Sox here. I know it takes a lot for me to do that, but they released him so we can go find another team to be in the postseason with. And I looked it up just now just to make sure. But he signed on the 31st of August. And I think everyone signed past September 1st can't be on the postseason roster. So he is eligible. I'm sure he wants to make it really bad. He's not going to make it in the rotation. He didn't want to come out of the bullpen, and he's a fucking dumbass when he comes out of the bullpen throwing 8 pitches. So good luck to you, Phillies. I'm sure you guys will be disappointed with him at some point. That being said, I wanted to back my guy Jansen Junk. I've been a Junk guy like last half of the season. There's 85% of the money on him with 48% of the bets. But like you and Spoon said, the line's not really moving too much. As I refresh my odds tracking my site, whatever the hell it's called, I'm seeing minus 160 to minus 155. So it's truly not that much movement there. I don't think the Phillies really got after it yesterday for clinching the bye. I could be wrong. I didn't see their celebration. Admittedly, I went to bed at 8:00 last night to try to catch up on some sleep. Imagine my disappointment, Jimmy, when I wake up and I see the Reds lose again. What a joke. I fell asleep and they had 2 guys on in the 10th inning. And I was like, okay, I feel good. What assholes those guys are. But I'll stay off. I typically lose head-to-heads against you. So I like Jansen Junk. I was going to bet Marlins first 5, but nothing here for me.
I still think that you have that option. Here. It's just that you need to see left-handed bats out of the Phillies lineup, which is a possibility. So if you see Harper and Schwarber out of the lineup, Jansen Junk gets hit hard by lefties.
I don't expect Harper in. I'll tell you that. Why would he play? I expect him to play the last series, but I just didn't expect him to play today.
San Francisco 49er on the Cardinals plus 1.5. We are going to cap that game. Jose and I are going to cap that game at the end of baseball here. It's not on the video description.
When you said Cardinals plus 1.5, I obviously thought he was talking St. Louis.
No, not when he named San Francisco 49er.
Shout out to you, my man.
Let's roll on. Detroit Tigers 85-73, 39-38 on the road. The Cleveland Guardians 86-72, 43-34 at home. Progressive Field in Cleveland, Ohio. Now these lines make sense. They didn't before. I can't believe I was on the Guardians yesterday. I just I was bad yesterday and had to deal with the consequences. 70 Fahrenheit feels like 71, 6.4 miles per hour left to right. And then it becomes, well, it's slightly in, but then it becomes just left to right. Let's take a look at Ballpark Pal here. We have, let me move back. Ballpark Pal has progressive plus 1%, plus 9% homers, plus 3% doubles and triples, and minus 5% singles. Parker Messick has looked very, very good. 3-0, 2.08 ERA, 1.30 whip. We know that the Guardians are a pitching factory. 31 strikeouts and 5 walks. I mean, the guy's a beast. Last start, 6-2 win at the Twins. Took care of business. 9 strikeouts, 1 walk, and 5 1/3.
I would also anticipate that this rotation being the rotation for the playoffs for the Guardians. So I expect Parker Messick to get game 3, for those who are wondering out there.
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me. We have Keider Montero as the primary here. It's just, this is
why no one believed in the Tigers. A game 3, game for your season, you're throwing out a bullpen game? Fuck that. Keider Montero for 3 innings? No thanks.
It is a fall from grace that we've never seen before.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
It's good. It's good for sports.
And shout out to, I forgot who the guy that has the Guardians to win that division, like 70-1. I forget. Donut Silk. Shout out to you, my man. I think about that bet like once a day now, hoping it cashes for you, my man. Crazy
70-1.
I mean, you don't get those numbers like you do. They don't give those numbers out often. And when you get them, you got to grab them.
It'll be the highest odd hit of his career. I mean, unless we're talking horses. I mean, and in horses, I've never had a winner at 70-1. I've only hit, exactas and tries and shit like that up there. But
yeah, we probably won't have a single higher bet that hits for this year.
Spooner says, don't be surprised if Troy Melton goes 4 to 5 innings here. That is interesting. I did not have that in my thought process. I thought it'd be a 1 or 2 spot, and then he would go to Keider Montero. But I guess Hyde is just going to want to see what Melton can do. Melton's looked good this year. We talk about the Guardians being a pitching factory. I mean, the Tigers have some great young arms here. Some of them have floundered down the stretch, but we have not seen Melton start in a long time. He's just been coming out of the pen, going 2 or 3 innings here or there. 24-year-old kid in this huge game. Lefties hit him harder than righties. Lefties are hitting 216 with a 703 OPS against them. Let's take a look at the line history. And we know that the under was heavily juiced at 8, and then now it's a 7.5, just slightly juiced to the over. Get to the money line here for this one. If the Reds and Pirates can get my day started and get me out of the horrific nature of yesterday, I would be quite pleased.
Yes.
It just weighs on you. We've had a very, very legitimate move towards the Tigers today. Opening up at plus 145 down to plus 124. I wonder if it's a head fake from the books. I wonder if they're like, people are just destroying them, fading the Tigers. So now they're like, why don't we put steam towards the Tigers? I mean, it's a pretty fascinating move, because when it came out of minus 160, I was like, well, now they're lining it properly. You have 57% of tickets, 52% of cash on Cleveland. Why would people say, oh, now it's the time? Now we got Melton and Keider Montero. I mean, it's nuts to me to believe these numbers. 71% of tickets on the under and 94% of cash on the under. I mean, this is crazy. Spooner says Fangraphs has an article right now saying Melton is the second best starter in the Detroit organization, and they wanted to work him as a starter late in the season. So this is bananas. This is crazy to me. That now Tigers are hitting lefties. That's the one thing they have been doing down the stretch. So are you going to be on the guard? The 260, 765 OPS last 30 days, by the way. Are you interested? Are you going to back the Guardians? Are you going to bypass this move towards the Tigers?
I'll stay off and watch. I think the Tigers are dead. Now, their next series will be very interesting because they play the Boston Red Sox at home next. Boston Red Sox magic number is 1, by the way, for those wondering. So we'll see. I think the Red Sox still care about seeding very much. I don't think that they will lay down to the Tigers, and I don't trust the Tigers in any of those games. Even with the Red Sox not probably pitching any of their guys, like Crochet's not going to go. Lucas Giolito might not go. I wouldn't be surprised if they rested him, but maybe he goes game one. But I can't get there. I just couldn't get there with the Tigers team. It'd be Tigers or nothing for me. Just expecting them, like, if they have any heart, anything here, they get up off the mat and score and get the wins here. I will admit, I'm thinking bigger picture here, Jimmy, and I'm like, can a team led by just one starting pitcher that is, if you wanted to elect a leader in that clubhouse, it's Tarek Skubal. No position players. No Riley Green. I think he needs a guy out there in the battle every day to lead this team, to lead any team.
It was supposed to be Big Torque.
Well, He was
supposed to be the guy.
I just need vets. That's why they wanted Alex Bregman so bad. I'm off this game, but I'll tell you what, you talked about Framber Valdez. He has Detroit Tiger written all over him.
Well, he will never be looked upon as the same way after.
No, I wanted him on the Red Sox, and after that, I was like, you know what? I'm all set. I'm good.
Okay, so everybody here, and Alan Minton saying he agrees with Spoon. Melton will go as long as his arm will take him. We have everybody on the Guardians, nobody on the Tigers.
And I get it from a marketer's perspective why I should, I guess, be on the Tigers. I get it. It's just Tigers are nothing for me in this game, and I'm good. I don't need to put my sweat equity into this Tigers team anymore.
I've really screwed up some, it's so funny. Before, years past, when the market wasn't so heavy in my cap, I handled streaks wonderfully. I got them. I understood them. I knew how to bet them. As I changed so drastically my approach, which has helped my ROI a great deal, I'm terrible with streaks. I don't. So I have so much to work on. Let's move on. 7:05 p.m. Eastern. Jose, we head to Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, baby. Fucking Bronx. White Sox 58 and 100, 25 and 52 on the road to the New York Yankees, 90 and 68, 46 and 31 at home. Davis Martin going up against Carlos Rodon. A dad fan says, did we find out if the roof is open for the Rangers game? I mean, we didn't get confirmation, but
should I make the call?
Yeah, that's just your hand that you held
up. Hey, always observant to Jimmy the Bag. Always observant. You can't pull him by him. Can't do it.
All right, let's just get to the weather.
I can't lie. I mean, he spoke facts there, guys. What do you want me to say? That wasn't my hand? Come on.
Spooner says that he wants to back Melton but can't fade Messick. I mean, I wonder if then the move is towards the under. But then you're believing in these young pitchers to deliver, which,
I mean, I lean under just because how bad these offenses have been, But the Guardians, I'll never understand the Guardians.
Let's go back, switch the banner back for a second.
I'll never get it.
If we believe in Melton, we know Messick is pitching well, although that is the Tigers' sort of, I can't even call it bread and butter. I mean, Stephen Fehrenbach, you're right. Guardians won 17 and 19, haven't clinched yet. Believe your eyes and do the right thing. Look, I get it. But I'm hesitant to do so. I've handled this run poorly.
I mean, I'll be honest. I would be a little surprised if Fangraphs is right about Kiner Montero. Chris Paddock is just sitting there. How is Chris Paddock not better than Kiner Montero? It's disgusting. 68 pitches for Chris Paddock on Friday the 19th. So, I mean, come on, Tigers.
This is probably an under game, isn't it?
Yeah, playoff kind of game. I mean, I would see why people would be on the under.
So why are you not on the under?
because I want nothing to do with these teams. I will never understand the Guardians. I just won't. Their offense is mystifying to me. They strike you all out. They just played under. So, gun to head, $500 bet on the total. It's under. But I can only bet your hypothetical $500, not my hypothetical $500.
Is anybody else in the chat moving on the under? I mean, 94% of the cash on the under. I mean, it is moving towards the under, but that's just not my wheelhouse. I'll look into it more after today.
J-Dub, by the way, mentioning he did face Cleveland, and that was his worst start of his, or I guess appearance of his relief appearance. 1 2/3, 2 earned runs, home run, ball and a strike. So I think it's tough.
Okay. Yeah, and JW on the over. I'm not going to sit here and hem or haw. Let's move on. Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Weather is an issue. Let me see if I can get the latest weather report here. We have. Well, it's pretty good. We're fine. Game's going to go. It's just the storms are hitting right now. If anybody else has a different weather report, let me know. I didn't go to AccuWeather or anything. Davis Martin, 7-10, 4.03 ERA, 1.27 WHIP. Coming up 4-3 win at home versus the Padres. I had a run with Davis Martin earlier in the year, and then he screwed me once, and now I've not been able to handle him right because that was the Padres -1 bet that I made at -150 that I lost when he won 4-3. On the road, he's not been very good. But I mean, he's not been. I trust him at home. I don't really trust him on the road. And lefties are hitting Davis Martin pretty hard. Looking at this Yankees lineup, anybody in the Bronx right now that could?
Should I make the call?
Sure.
I've got 2 people to call. I could call them both. One has gigantic breast and has the weather up there, and then the other one's low shack.
Yeah, I'll take small tits.
Okay. All right. I'll be right back. I need to get actually, my phone's right here. Just kidding.
Okay. We have a bunch of lefties in this lineup. This is the wrong lineup for Davis Martin, and the Yankees know what's at stake. I was trying to think, what number do we want? Luke Wyrock also on the Guardians. I get it. What number? The Yankees are going to destroy the White Sox today, just like they did yesterday. So, I mean, this total is an 8.5. It's -122 to the over. It opened up -110 to the over. 12 cents of movement to the over. Carlos Rodon is pitching very well right now. And the White Sox have no power against lefties over the last little while. Both bullpens have been bad. Let's get to the money line here. It'd be nice to get the day off to a winning start here. We're heading to the bottom of the second, 0-0 in Cincinnati. So we have the Yankees at -293. They opened up at -300. I mean, they know what's on the line. Rodon's going to deliver for them. At what point is this too expensive? That's and what do you do with these? Because how is this? I mean, the line's not moving towards them. Who cares? It opened up at -300. It's not going against them. I mean, how is this not a cash cow? So the run line is, at a public book here is -140. Look, it's very, very expensive. We understand that, but I mean, they're just going to destroy them. All of the momentum is on their way. They know that the Blue Jays are panicking. Yankees double results only -115. What the hell? Why would that be?
Wow, that's crazy. -115. I mean, I'm sure you might not have a line for the Rockies game, but what's that double result? If this is -115, then what's the other? And again, maybe
it's a good example, but they got my man Emerson Mouthcock.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah, he's back.
Well, I hate to fade him today, but I will. But yeah, that's crazy. -115. What's the other side of that? Can you bet double result? No.
The Mariners double results +105.
What? Oh, well, okay. Hold on. What's that line now?
For what?
What's the Mariners line? No, I had minus 250 earlier. Full
Minus
game.
270 here.
What?
Yeah.
That makes no sense. That's crazy. I mean, I guess it's because it's like technically minus a half first 5, but I mean, come on.
Thank you for sharing, Sports Investor. Copied and pasted.
Shout out to you, Sports Investor. By the way, shout out to Steve Fehrenbach, who is a Guardians fan. I didn't know that.
Oh, nice.
Tommy, the bad man, Omar Vizquel, Kenny Lofton. Shout out to you.
Why would the Yankees only be minus 115 double result?
Why are the Seattle Mariners with plus money double result?
Ronnie Crawford says because White Sox first half is cashing at home, 67%. They're not at home.
Well, shout out to Billy Friedrich. He has been betting the White Sox first 5 quite a bit. And
at home.
Yep. And he's been cashing first 5 at home. I mean, what does this Yankees team have to play for? Again, like I always struggle betting teams that.
What do you mean? What do they have to play for? They have everything to play for.
Oh yeah, they still have a chance at the division. I forgot.
They're tied with the Blue Jays.
They're tied now.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude! How are you guys? God, don't let them do this. Fuck. I want the Red Sox to lose now tonight, so they don't give those fuckers the satisfaction. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm off. Maybe I could consider betting double results. No, I don't know if you can do. What is that bet, Jimmy, looking like?
Well, this is what you would then bet. You would bet
White Sox first 5.
No, you'd bet first. You do 2 different things, and they would pay out enormous amounts of money. You would bet both tie Yankees, and then you would bet White Sox Yankees, and they would pay out disgusting. Let's find out exactly what they would pay out here. I'm not.
I mean, this feels like it just. If we were better cappers, we would be betting the whatever the fuck you just
should
said.
the market. Should the market handle all of this here when they're at the very end of the season?
I mean, you're right. The market can't account for the White Sox probably stopping trying about a week ago. So you're right there. I mean, I was on the Rockies last night, and that went the way it went, obviously. But I just would much rather be on these big dogs than trying to lay a -1 on a huge favorite like this.
Look, I got to take the Yankees double result. There's blood in the water, man. Carlos Rodon's going to be on the mound screaming into his glove.
What a fat ass that guy is. By the way, Yankees bullpen fully available. Someone asked. Bednard hasn't thrown in 3 days. Williams threw 14 yesterday. Don't think he goes. Duvall hasn't thrown in 3 days. And someone else, I saw the comments here. JW, Duvall, Hill, Weaver. Tim Hill has through 10 pitches 2 days ago, I should say. And who's Slater? I don't know who Slater is on the Yankees, unfortunately, J-Dub. But yeah, those are those guys.
Okay. I mean, it just feels like
it feels like a trap. It feels like it's way too cheap.
It does.
Like in my head, double results should be -130 at least here. But I don't bet the double results, so I don't know what the prices are really. So, and Spoon's mentioning that, obviously Rodon used to be a White Sox. I don't think he gives a fuck anymore, personally. I think this is just a tune-up start. Like, would I be surprised if Rodon threw 4 innings and got out of here? Not really.
Why would you be surprised by that? They're tied for the AL East lead.
I just don't think that. Like, tell me the Yankees can go up early on these guys. They throw 4 innings and he's out of there and save him for the.
No, God, no. They get the job done. Win this division. Get the job done, man.
God, that is disgusting that the Boston Red Sox are handing these fuckers a division like this.
Okay, let's roll on. We don't need to. Let's move on to your Boston Red Sox. I'm very, very interested in the double result. Like this is the time of year where I think that I should just. Because again, this is not what got me yesterday. CLV was all over this, and I got touched up. Red Sox, Blue Jays, Rogers Center, Toronto, Ontario. Now, again, like I don't want the gut to be too involved here, but maybe this is the right time of year. In hockey, I don't care what the line says in the last week of the year or month of the year. I know who's trying and who's not, and we dominate.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is your best time of the year at the end of every football, baseball, whatever season.
Not baseball. Not really baseball because of what happened yesterday. I'm just totally a fucking mess.
So I have a question. Why is Shane Bieber not pitching here?
It's a good question.
It made me feel like why? Like if you're throwing Louis Varland out here, are you trying?
Well, Louis Varland's the opener. Eric Lauer is pitching.
If you're throwing Louis Varland and Eric Lauer here, are you really trying? Compared to Shane Bieber, who, I don't know. Maybe I don't know who they have next. The Blue Jays. I was just shocked to see. It made me. The first instinct was like, wow, they punting? What are they doing?
No, I mean, the Red Sox have had less power against left-handed pitching over the last little while.
Yep.
Much more power against right-handed. Eric Lauer, my gut tells me that Eric Lauer shoves.
I like him. I think he's a good pitcher, so I wouldn't be surprised at all.
We have Londo. Justin McKelvey, Stacks play today, numero uno. Jorge Springer over 1.5 bases. That guy's been everything that we ever dreamt of this year and everything he wasn't last year. And
made up for the whole contract in one season.
He did. He wants it so badly. He's such a heart and soul guy.
Yeah, I respect him.
Yeah. Shout out to not to George Springer, but to Justin McKelvey. Stacks play today, number one. Springer over 1.5 bases, a plus 115.
Stacks.
I think the issue, JM saying Toronto meltdown, I think that's real. I really do. I think that's in the cards as a possibility.
You have talked about the rich history of that with this Blue Jays team as well.
Yes. And but watching the Tigers fall apart makes up for 1987 and 1985.
Yeah,
so I hope
Jack Morris.
I hope the Tigers fall apart just to make that a little bit easier for Blue Jay fans. It looks like the roof could be open, but it's been like rainy all morning, but it looks like that is a possibility. JW says this is the White Sox World Series to play spoiler. Look, I respect where you're at, both JW and JM. I don't think you guys in no way do I think, what are you talking about? Like, not at all. Like, I get what you guys are on. I get Jose being shocked by the minus 115 double result. I understand it all. So, and I don't want my gut to get involved, but Lauer is a character guy, and I think he steps up here. I think I'm better off just not betting this. But Ron Crawford says this is a Jays spot. Bayo 5.56 ERA at the Rogers Center, coming off a 5-3 loss at home versus the Athletics. He didn't pitch very well. I wonder if he's dealing with arm fatigue. 161 and 2/3 innings. There's Troy Torrence in the house. Troy Torrence, the Yankees. Oh, he's back. Nice. Oh, nice. That means we get to rock for Thursday Night Football. Are you back at your house, Troy?
Should I send him the link?
Yeah, send him the link if he's back, because I'd love to cap that Thursday Night Football once more with him. But I know he's so exhausted. Probably.
I have very limited takes on that game. I was shocked to see where that line opened up. I'll tell you that.
I'd love to cap the Thursday nighter to close up the show with you, Troy. But again, oh, beautiful. Okay, because I'd love to know if the Yankees are a cash cow situation as well. So those are the two main questions here. But let's finish this off. Nice. Troy's back in business. We're going to cap the Thursday nighter at the end of the show. I love it. So here for Red Sox, Jays, let's go through the line history and the cash flow. And then the line's moving towards the Red Sox. The Jays gone from minus 145 to minus 136. It's interesting because there's so many different ways of capping. And one are X's and O's and trusting streaks and things like that, which is what I focus on in, let's say, hockey. And I haven't been doing very well, and I've been like holding my own until the last 20 games of the year, and then kind of getting hot and ending up
for hockey.
for hockey, healthy in the black. I've changed my ROI drastically now in MLB, even though I just got crushed yesterday, by not caring about the X's and O's as much as the market. Now, the X's and O's got to play a part, but not caring as much. And here, I feel like the Jays are going to step up. I feel like Schneider's saying the right things. Lauer is a good pitcher. Bayo, it feels like he's dealing with arm fatigue. And the line's moving towards the Red Sox. 59% of tickets, 87% cash on the Red Sox. I guess the best thing for me here, because I knew it was too good to be true that the Jays were just going to roll. I knew that, but now the fan is starting to come out a little bit where I do want them to win the division. Jose, take it away. I guess I just stay off of this baseball game.
Yeah, I feel like I've paid for victories for the Red Sox here recently, and the Red Sox fan in me is thrilled. The guy that's losing money, that is losing money on these games, is not as thrilled because they doubled up against the Red Sox and they just slapped their own asses to victory. So that was very interesting. But look, I just can't kind of get over the fact that they've pushed Shane Bieber here, and I'm very interested to. I actually had it up and I was looking at it, see who these guys have next here as well, because these series all will matter here. Tampa Bay at home for the Blue Jays here, so I can see it's a tough series. I can see why they would want to push, I guess, Shane Bieber there, and then for the Yankees, they have Baltimore at home, which again, it's a tough series. Good God, this is just fucking crazy. But I lean Red Sox here, and I'm just a little worried about trying to catch a falling knife and all that stuff. So it was just another stay off game for me. It's funny. I didn't have a terrible day yesterday. It was a losing day, but it is what it is. And I'm sitting here like this whole card has just been riddled with some lines that I just cannot get behind here. Like I minus 140, minus 135 for Louis Varland. It's too much against.
That's one inning of Louis Varland. Don't get caught up in Louis Varland.
Well, Eric Lauer, I should say. Still, I would expect it to be like minus 120, minus 130 here. Opener, because obviously minus 135 is not off. So I'm off. I lean Red Sox here again. Shout out to you, Nasty Nate. And like I said, the Red Sox magic number is 1. So I'm sure they're going to be plenty motivated to go get that shit done today.
Yeah, I'm off. Let me tell you, Chang, quickly before we move on to the next game, that I did make a decision for my survivor. I don't want to get too into it because I want to be a 2-time champion in Pub Sports Radio Survivor. So I don't want everybody to know the plan. But I will tell you, Chang, that I did change my plan because I was going to save the Bills. And I feel like I need to actually save the Broncos. And I know the Broncos haven't been playing well. That was a big strikeout for Ashcraft. I'm saving the Broncos for week 7 now. So I am going to use the Bills in Survivor this week.
God bless you for mapping all this out.
That's what winners do, Jose.
I don't know what that's like. I only get cute on the Survivor pools and lose immediately. So Operation Don't Get Cute, Chang. I wish you luck.
So yeah, I am going to use the Bills here. I've got my next 5 weeks mapped out, and things can change, but I want the Broncos to be an opportunity for me in week 7. So
respect.
I don't know. I forget if anyone can tell me who came up with Goracle, because it's magic. We have a new one from Alex Cruz. Goat key. Goat key.
Goat key.
Goat key's good, dude.
Yeah. Shout out to Goki, by the way, who is in the Pub Sports Radio Discord, which is going up, guys. You guys need to.
Yeah, we all jumped on yesterday, about 10 of us, and it's a big. But it's not one thing to talk about; it's another thing to do it. So we're just going to be there all the time. I'm going to do some horse racing in there because I can share the screen. Another strikeout for Ashcraft. Nice job, Alex. Goat key is beautiful.
Yeah, Goki is great. So
Goracle is the best though. But
yeah, I love the Goracle. I can just whenever I close my eyes, I can just picture the Goracle. Everyone just bowing their heads down to Gorky, and Gorky is just talking to the gods.
wow. See, whenever I close my eyes, I don't think of men at all ever.
I do.
7:40 p.m. Eastern, New York Mets at the Chicago Cubs. We're at Wrigley Field in Chicago, Illinois. Let's get into the weather. At Wrigley, we have 69 Fahrenheit, feels like 74.2 miles per hour in, dies down to 1.8 miles per hour. Let's get to Ballpark Pal for Wrigley, minus 8% overall, minus 14% homers, plus 3% doubles and triples, and minus 4% singles. We roll on to, sorry guys, a bunch of people have been asking about TJ's action. He has a very intense job, a very high level job that we don't talk about very often, and we can't. But there was an emergency. He's not going to Montreal anymore. He's been called in to handle said emergency. So he's going to be really busy for the next 48 hours dealing with something massive. But again, it's not stuff that we talk about. So he's not going to Montreal. He's going to be busy 48 hours, and he's going to try. He's in the chat when he can, but he's dealing with a very high pay grade situation.
See, I know that TJ has a very fancy, important job, but I like to imagine him as just an umpire. just an umpire. Just an umpire dropped from the regionals, and there he goes to go fill in the spot. Imagine if TJ was your umpire, by the way. You get fucked on a call. You're getting tossed if you give any sass towards TJ.
If you knew what he was doing today, that makes it even funnier, man.
Okay, good.
By the way, we did cash our first 3 under.
Come on!
I'm not going to try to win it all back today. But unlike Jose, so I went to sleep at 8 p.m. too.
Oh!
But I set my alarm clock for 11:30 p.m. and then capped till 4 in the morning. And so I feel better than I did yesterday. But I didn't know how bad it was going. And when I woke up at 11:30, I'd been trying like 10:30, 11:30 not to look at the phone. And when I looked, I was like, no.
If the A's would have lost, I would have been in a very bad mood today. The fact
you will get Troy Torrance for Discord. But look, we don't want to talk about it. We want to do it. So we're all going to be in Discord. We'll say, hey, we're talking. So it's enough. So we're just going to be there and do it.
Yep.
But I promise you, the Discord's going to pop.
Yeah. By the way, I expect to be watching Red Sox playoff games in the Discord, chatting with the lads here. I messed around with it yesterday, live streaming a baseball game in the Discord. It seemingly worked out pretty well, like latency wise. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. If anyone wants to jump into the Discord, become a gold or silver member, it's all on the Pub Sports Radio website, and it'll be all a lot of fun.
Jonathan Yim, if you take an 0-3 team in your survivor pool in week 4,
God bless you.
No, God will not bless you. I don't know what God that you look up to, but so no, take the fucking Broncos. Mets, Cubbies. You know what I'm going to do too, and that I'm mapping out. I want to use whoever's playing the when the Bengals are on the road. Whoever's playing the Bengals, but again,
I would be Detroit Lions this week personally. By the way, Man Bear Pig asking about how we get into the Discord. You are obviously a gold or silver member, Man Bear Pig. So all you do is go to the Pub Sports Radio website, sign into your account. I like hitting account and then going from there. It'll sign you in, or you sign in, whatever the fucking lingo you want to be is, and then you'll see a Discord. A little icon there. You click on that, and I believe that right there has the link to the PSR Discord.
Okay, let's roll on. So next up, we have New York Mets, Chicago Cubs. Mets 81, 77, 32, 45 on the road. Cubbies 89 and 69, 47 and 30 at home. We just talked about Ballpark Pal, and they had given Wrigley -8%, -14% homers, +3% doubles, triples, and -4% singles. We have Nolan McLean, who has looked exceptional to start out his career. Nolan McLean in a huge spot against Shota Imanaga. Shota Imanaga is 139 innings in, but it feels like he's dealing with some arm fatigue. He just doesn't look nearly as dominant. Maybe this is a spot where he steps up, but I don't know why that would be. He seems like he allows 3 earned runs in every situation. This total is a 7.5, opened at 7.5. It was -105 to the under. We've had 14 cents of movement to the under. Obviously, these conditions are run suppressing. So then on the money line here for Cubbies Mets. Come on. Are you serious? Okay, here we go. For the money line here for Cubbies Mets. And the Orioles are starting to scrape back. It's 1-0 Minnesota as well for us who bet the over in that one. That's a good thing. Of course, Tyler Mahle, who's never has allowed 4 earned runs in 49 innings. You believe that shit? Open up the roof, Mahle. We know who you really are. We have the money line at +100. Opened up -105. So we've had a 5-cent move to the New York Mets. We've already heard from Morgan Spooner that he's on the New York Mets. And I have to fucking win today. I can't have days like that. I know that we build a bankroll to handle days like that. But I mean, I lost thousands yesterday, and whatever I get when the season ends to give you an idea, for the Brewers to win the division, 500 on the Brewers to win actually it was 400 on Brewers to win the division. I put 400 on them to win the division and 500 on them to go over their win total so that I wouldn't lose a little bit of money if they went over their win total and didn't win the division. Regardless, that's all gone. It's all wiped out with yesterday's shit. So I have to win today. Let's win today. When we get to the cash flow here, 64% of the tickets, 78% of cash on the Mets. Is it moving enough to the Mets? Maybe you could say, well, it's because Shota Imanaga's on the other side, and that would be, I mean, is Nolan McLean playing? Nolan McLean's had 3 games, he's 3 starts on the road, 18 in the third. He's allowed 5 earned runs, 219 opponents average, and he's allowed 1 home run. He's a monster. Both bullpens are very similar. Take it away for us here, Jose. Spooner's on the Mets. Should we join him?
Yeah, the fact that he's favored in this game, I think kind of tells the story again here. I think I'm going to, and I haven't made an official bet yet, which is hilarious to think about. I feel like I've been up here for an hour now or so. And like, what am I there's no bets in for me. Like, good God. But yeah, I think the fact that he's favored in this matchup tells the story here. I'm seeing really not much movement at all.
Should we be seeing more or no? Because they're 32 and 45 on the road, and they're going up against Shota Imanaga. Even a little bit of movement is enough.
I think that the fact, like, it doesn't have to move because they're already favored. In my head, is kind of the thought process. Like, we talk about how the fishy lines. They can open up in certain spots, and then if they move towards the other side, it doesn't matter because it opened up in a fishy spot to begin with. That's kind of what I'm feeling here as well. And by the way, I'll be very interested to see how you do with that kind of thought process now in hockey as well. See if they open up fishy lines there, the line. I know you don't care about line movement and such in hockey as much, but
I've not been beating hockey the way I should be. So I mean, I'm having good seasons where we're about 20 units in the black, but it's not it's not good enough. So I am evolving as a capper thanks to working with all of you, and I need to be better and should be better and expect to be better. And hockey's obviously my bread and butter, but I mean, what I'm certain of is I can't just because I see the public play before the public. CLV is not your friend in hockey. So,
yeah, I make fun of Pete all the time because he says it frequently that, he can get 20 cents of CLV on something and he'll still lose.
It's more totals. The CLV on totals is negative ROI, and I just got to be aware of that. Seeing the public play before the public, I mean, what should that mean? It shouldn't mean shit. Troy Torrence posted these profiles in the Pub Sports Radio Discord. Okay, that's dope. All right, I'm gonna leave question marks around the Mets here. I do think Shota Imanaga is the vulnerable one, and maybe that's wrong. So I want to study that a little bit more. Also, if I'm rolling here, how much I need to be in the black and healthy in the black here today. So let's roll on. JW says Mets haven't clinched it; they'll be hungry. Troy says let's play this over, so he's not concerned by the weather. I've got lots to study. Let's roll on. Next up for us, 9:38 p.m. We have 2 games left before we get into the Thursday nighter. 9:38 p.m. Eastern, the Kansas City Royals 79-79, 36-41 on the road at the LA Angels 71-87, 38-39 at home at Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California. So this was the game I really wanted to cap, and I almost moved on before I got here. I don't mind being on the Royals. I get that. Michael Lorenzen is born and raised in Anaheim, California.
Former Angel, right? He pitched for the Angels too, right?
Did he have a?
I need to look it up. Sorry, I'll look it up. I just have faint memories of the Vans, but go ahead. Sorry.
I don't know if I'm a Lorenzen backer. I don't know if
he pitched in LA 2022.
Okay. Oh, is that where he signed with the Tigers for that? Remember, he signed for $8 million or $11 million with the Tigers. That was the year after the Angels, I guess.
He pitched for 2 teams in 23 and 24. I'll let you know who they were in a second.
Okay. Well, this isn't just another start for Lorenzen, and it's not just because he's from Anaheim, but he's trying to make something of a lost season, and he understands that he gets picked up, for a bag of baseballs every winter.
Yes, and you were right, by the way. Philly Detroit is who he pitched for that year.
Yeah, he pitched well. Yeah, he pitched well with the Angels. He got himself a contract with Detroit, and he made me a lot of money that year. And then the Phillies picked him up at the end of the year. He was great that year in Detroit. Okay, so Lorenzen last start was spectacular, but the market told us he was going to have that start, or that Scherzer was going to get lit up. Maybe the market was indicating that, but we doubled up on the Royals first 3, first 5, and it paid out beautifully. So let's see because I think that the Royals can't hit lefties. 219, 611 last 30 days. The Angels are the worst team in Major League Baseball against righties last 30 days. This game should be moving heavily towards the under. But let's just make sure that everything kind of correlates here because I want to hammer it. 74 Fahrenheit, wind blowing out at 7 miles per hour, dies down at 4.5 miles per hour. So then how offensive is the expectations here of Angel Stadium? Plus 4%, plus 12% homers, minus 3% doubles and triples, plus 1% singles. So we go into the Royals are minus 115. So we've had a 10-cent move to the Royals. Okay, I like that. I'd like to be on the Royals. I'd like to continue this fade of the Angels, even though it cost me money yesterday. So we move on to the total. The total is a 9. It's minus 120 to the over. It opened up minus 125 to the over. It's a very, very high total. Thank you, Ron, my man. Respect. Love having you here with us. It's an extremely high total. So these teams can't hit. And yes, these pitchers are bad. And yesterday the pitchers were quite a bit better. Yesterday, the total was 8.5 juice to the under. Well, that makes sense. You had Kolek and Kikuchi. So it's just a half-run difference with these bums. So I don't think we need to be concerned that we have a 9. I think that it's helpful that the 9 has moved at least a little bit towards the under. These are favorable weather conditions for offense. So I think this all works. Mitch Ferris is the lefty, and he's not a good one. But, and this is a crucial part of this cap, is Ferris has been terrible, but his last start was in Colorado in the thin air. So yes, he's been terrible, but he's only had 1 home start, and he was really good there. So Mitch Ferris, both of these pitchers have gas can type numbers, but are they gas cans? And Lorenzen has been for a lot of the year. Now he's pitching at home in front of his friends and family. Now, if you look up Mitch Harris on Baseball Reference and you see his picture, you don't want to back this man. I don't want that to get in my head. We know it's a journeyman prospect from Wingate University. Wingate, 14th round pick in the 2023 draft. This year in Double-A, he was pretty good, but a 24-year-old in Double-A. I mean, he probably should have moved
Oh
up.
my God, you really don't want to back this guy when you look at him. Holy shit!
No,
That's not what I expected him to look like.
no, you
Okay,
don't.
all right.
So with all of this being said, I want unders. I'm going to look at what the first 3 under is. I'm going to look at what the full game under is. Spooner says Mitch Ferris started the year in A-ball. He's on the mound to protect their better prospects from being beat up in the major league level. That's completely legitimate. He's had 1 start at home, though. And he went up against a very dangerous athletics team, and he shut him down. I think we can take advantage of his ballooned numbers that have all occurred on the road and expect him to be decent here against the Royals team that doesn't hit lefties. So what was the cash flow on the under again? I want all the public on the over. 63% of tickets on the over and 52% of cash. Chris Warren says, as asking, is Lorenzen due for a meltdown? He is not going to have a job next year. This is an important start for him in front of family and friends and people that care about him against the Angels team that's hitting 192 with a 623 OPS. So I've said my shit. I'm going to be on. I'd like to be on double up on the under. I'm certainly going to be on the full game, and I'm very interested in backing the Kansas City Royals because we think they're still trying, and we think the Angels have given in. Take it away, Jose.
Yep, Royals for me, full game money line. Are you going to double up with the first 3 under?
That's what I'm looking at right now here, and I want to. So it's a 9. So if it's a 9, I should be able to build a 3 at a very legitimate price. So let's
2.5 plus money.
Oh yeah. Oh, 2.5 would be plus money for sure. I mean, it should be. If it's not, it should be big plus money. If it's not, then it's a slam because it means if it's expensive. Wow. It's not expensive. I can't build a 3, I don't think, because the under 2.5 is plus 110. I thought it'd be more than that. I'm moving on these. And you know what? It's too expensive to build a 3. I'm surprised at that. And I think that is a good sign. Keep rolling, Jose.
Yeah, I just think the Royals are like you said, still trying a little bit. I think you've got a good leader in Bobby Witt to set the tone. Angels don't give a fuck. Sure, Mitch Ferris, you can go out here and pitch well. I don't believe in the Royals offense very much, so I'd lean under with you here. But I'll keep fading the Angels with you. So minus 118 for me, I believe. Kansas City Royals. Yes, full game.
You know what? The 3 is minus 133. This is not.
You like expensive things.
I do. That's more expensive than it should be. I think this is a triple up spot for me, which would be the Royals, the first 3 under, and the full game under. I'm much more confident on the first 3 under and the full game under, but it's all good. We'll roll on. Troy says this is just a full game under. I'd like to double up. JW says he'll back Lorenzen as a favorite under minus 150. Royals up. Okay. All right. So we're in business. And Jose. So we have Spooner on the Royals and Jose on the Royals. This is going to be a big game for me tonight. Royals minus 118. Let's talk about our final game on the board before we talk NFL. I know Troy's rushing to jump on with us, but if he's not quite ready yet, join us. Oh, he's saying the full game under looks great. Okay, I love that, Troy. Then you can get it started with me here. Final game in MLB on our board, 9:40 p.m. Eastern with the Colorado Rockies, 43 and 115, 18-59 on the road. Seattle Mariners, 89-69, 15-27 at home. T-Mobile Park in Seattle, Washington.
What was the Rockies record you just said again?
Rocket 43 and 115.
Okay, I just wanted to hear it again. Sorry.
No, it's okay. If I didn't back Tanner Gordon yesterday, I would probably laugh with you.
I mean, I did too. I backed him. Yeah, I was right.
And he has 2 great road starts in a row. And then he's in a run-suppressing park. They get the 6 outs to start out the first inning. Now, I was trying to sleep and not think about him getting torched and woke up to the horrific news. We have Bradley Blaylock on the hill against Emerson Mouthcock. Blaylock 2-5. 9.16 ERA, 1.82 whip. That's in 55 innings. And you guys know that I'm an
Defend to
Emerson
the death.
believer. I'm an Emerson believer.
By the way, your love of young pitchers is transitioning to young quarterbacks as well.
I don't know why young. That's not a young thing. I just the people who disrespect an 8th or 9th overall pick, like they disrespected Quinn Priester, they don't cap with us anymore because they know how wrong they were and they just can't look themselves in the fucking mirror.
Yeah, someone said something about C.J. Stroud and Caleb Williams, and I heard the same Emerson Hancock defense, and I was like,
I just think people writing off the highest prospects in a sport just because they start their career off poorly, it's ignorant and it will set you up to lose money. That's all. On the road, we have Blaylock better, but they're still getting to him. 25 2/3. He's allowed 7 home runs. This guy allows a home run basically every 2.5 innings, every 2.7 innings. I mean, he's just terrible. And lefties are destroying him. So are righties. Then we have Emerson Hancock up. We have not seen him in a long time. Let's take a look at how he has been doing in the minors.
oh man, I thought he was hurt. I didn't realize they just sent him down.
Come on. Now you're just being a dick.
That's sad. Damn.
What do you mean? We knew why he was not pitching well at the major league level. This is the 6th overall pick in the 2020 draft. And in Tacoma, he wasn't very good. He wasn't very good. 1-2 with a 5.24 ERA and a 1.55 whip. What the hell do we do with this game? Maybe I could just let it go. Troy, Jose will send it to you. I'm looking forward to Cap the Thursday Nighter. Maybe I should just let this one go. I mean, this feels like volatility all over the place. The Mariners have no reason to try, and yet we have an 8. This opened up at -120 to the over. It didn't open up until 2:22 p.m. Since then, it's taken 8 cents of movement towards the under. And then we get to the money line here. We have the Mariners at -265. They open up -250, a 15-cent move to the Mariners. I mean, I need. Yes, they did just get home. And we have no information on the cash flow. Jose Bouquet, maybe I should just leave this game alone. Take it away, Rockies, Mariners.
I'm, team Rockies here, obviously. I think I'm going to go right back to the window one more time with the Colorado Rockies here. But I'm going to do a first 5 treat here and just target our boy Emerson specifically. Seattle, of all of the parties that were had, except for the Guardians incoming division party, I'm assuming, theirs was probably the sweetest. Down for so long and all that stuff. Cal Raleigh hits 2 home runs. So I think the Rockies are, I don't want to say, I don't know, alive in this game. I don't know what the right word is here, but first 5 innings, I think they can get the job done here. I want as little Rockies time, I guess, as I can get with the first 5 innings here. And, even if I had first 3 innings, that's something I'd be considering here. But first 5 plus a half, plus 125, I don't hate.
So the angle of a highly thought of pitcher who got to be in the major leagues, have his bags carried, goes down to the minors, eats microwave dinners, carries his own fucking bags, understands what he had in the palm of his hands, and he didn't deliver. A very highly thought of 6th overall draft pick. You don't go back to that angle that he comes back up and he realizes what he didn't have.
And that's kind of why I'm saying plus a half, because I don't want money line plus 185 in case, because both these teams could not score in these first 5 innings. I wouldn't be shocked at all. Like, I just don't expect the Mariners bats to be there early after that celebration last night. And Bradley Blaylock, can you just put fucking 5 innings together? 5 innings together of good ball here for us. But yeah, I agree with you. I expect Emerson to pitch well. He's not bad by any means. The Mariners have the best pitching road depth in the league probably, and he's definitely a big reason why, because he could be top 4 starter on most any other team, probably.
All right, I don't know what to do with this fucking game. I'm gonna. Are you making the Rockies first 5 plus half official?
Yeah, plus 125 for me.
Rockies first 5 plus.
Down with the
half.
ship.
And what was the? Sorry, what was the vig?
Plus 125. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that game. It just feels like if I'm looking good going into it, why would I mess with it with the volatility that's included in that one? It doesn't make sense here. I'm not getting runs in this Twins Rangers game either. I remember we talked about the live over, but again, it's pretty much where it opens, so I'm not going to be too caught up in it. Okay, Jose, please review your MLB action for Thursday, September 25th.
Yeah, 4 officials here, and I'm going to take Troy. You're back there. I'm going to take one of your plays here. I'll join you on Mets Cubs over 7.5 minus 110. If you think the Cubs are going to win this game, Nolan's obviously the one getting hit. I don't think that Shota, like you mentioned, Jimmy, is in his peak prime form, kind of limping into the playoffs. So I can see both these guys giving up 3 earned runs, something like that, and we can ride out for the bullpen. So over 7.5 minus 110. I'm going to bet the A's first 5 money line there as well. First 5, they're the favorite, minus 115. I thought that was, I don't know, like surprising, shocking, whatever. You know, you get the line. I understand the line's moving down, but I would expect Framber Valdez to still have the respect to be favored in the first 5. Nope. So minus 115 for them there. Kansas City Royals, full game money line, minus 118. And my Colorado Rockies. Plus a half, first 5, plus 125.
You are in business, my friend.
Thank you. And I think I'm going to have a wager on tonight's game when it comes to football as well.
So I have Pittsburgh, Cincinnati first 3 under 2.5 that cashed. Ugh. My only bet that cashed yesterday was the exact same bet. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, full game under 8.5, looking good, 0-0. I have Minnesota, Texas over 8, and the Dodgers -1 at minus 121. And those of you wondering, if the roof is in fact open in Texas, it is. So that wasn't a mistake. So those are the 4 bets that I placed. Now let's talk about what to add. And I want the Phillies and possibly an under. I want to see the lineups first. I'm interested in the under in Detroit, Cleveland, but I want to study it more. Going to move on the Yankees double result. And I'm interested in Spooner's action with the Mets. And I'm going to bet the first 3 under, the full game under, and the Kansas City Royals in Royals Angels.
Yep. And Nasty Nate, we don't bet those first 5 unders. Jimmy almost did the other day, which was hilarious. But we don't bet first 5 unders.
I've bet one first 5 under this year. I lost it. It was just, you track all your action. I was losing them all in the bottom of the 5th inning with 2 out, and it was making me a bad parent.
Quality of life bet to not take first 5 unders.
But I'll have my first 3s, also my first 5 plus a half, and something that Troy and I are going to talk about more. The idea that, if you deal with a bet with that kind of vig in the long run, you will lose. Well, we're not in the long run. We're 1 year, and that's not been the case. Vig doesn't have to be your enemy. It can be indicative of what the books don't want you to bet.
Absolutely.
We'll talk more about that here. It doesn't have to be your enemy. All right, let's talk Thursday Night Football. I have my co-host backstage. Jose, jump on with us. Or do you want to cap the game, NFL game with us?
Oh, I do. Because I have a play. I think I have a play in this game, and
perfect.
I'm excited to hear Troy's analysis.
Well, let's bring him on. My co-host and Bankroll Blitz. He was so spectacular last week, and everybody was asking about him last night on the Sauce Network. He had his company's national meetings. He still made time to do Bankroll Blitz. We were lucky that national meetings were in Chicago this year, but he is champing at the bit here.
Champing, everyone, not chomping, champing.
Yes, you don't bastardize the language to make it make sense to you.
I think I'm going to drop some champings this weekend at the wedding to get it going, to really start the party.
You should, man. Women love champing.
Okay.
Let's bring on our guy, Troy Torrence. Troy, what's good, man? How are you?
You just gave me a ton of anxiety as I'm watching this MLB show. As I'm trying to rush to get in all my action based on the conversation you were having and what I was finding in the database, which I really haven't been operating in the MLB. But so much has come to mind over just the last portion of this show.
Yes. Yeah, man. There's so much. I got apps. I don't know if you know, but I got annihilated yesterday.
I did not know.
I lost thousands.
Fuck.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. I mean,
I know. It just hasn't happened to MLB all year. And of course, this cruel mistress of capping. This is by far the worst day of the year. If it happened, there's been so many days.
You can be extremely careful because you've been locked in. I've never seen Jimmy more locked in over the past few months, dating back to March, really. I never seen him more locked in. And you can only avoid these landmines for so long. You're going to just.
I think the lack of sleep is not helping here. And then when you're not winning, you sleep better when you're winning, obviously. And we have a song from Matty Ice that we are going to be debuting here soon that touches on that. When you're losing, you just can't sleep. WT looking for a best bet from me today, and the Reds Pirates game is long gone. I would say that the Dodgers win the division tonight. But the line isn't really moving in my favor. So it's the full game under in Kansas City, LA Angels. Full game under 9 in Kansas City, LA Angels.
I love that bet.
Okay, let's get into football here now.
Wait. Can I just touch on the one thing about the MLB or just the Yankees? You asked about the Yankees cash cow.
Yeah.
The problem with the Yankees cash cow is that at the book I like to reference for the MLB, it opened above minus 300, thus negating the cash cow. I've been now I'm over 5,000 games in my MLB sample, so I've kind of redefined some of these markets, and as the database sample grows, the profiles become way more concise and defined. Like it's a beautiful thing in the MLB, and it's still a long way to go for the NFL.
Well, the market efficiency database is going to be just an enormous asset to you for the rest of your life. I mean, sure, it's fun now. Wait 10 years. I mean, it's going to be fucking heaven.
See, I get concerned about 10 years because, well, then you could actually quantify how the market has changed over the course of time, and that's a different form of value, because I think the samples are going to we're going to want to keep them tight because
for error, yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. We'll have to see when it gets there, but it's a lot to think about.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about it. Justin says damage. I mean, does that mean that you have the over in that game? That must mean that.
I took the over in the Mets Cubs. I backed the Cubs because this is basically the reciprocal of the sharp trap, and I took the under in the Angels game as you were discussing it, and I just threw it up in the database, and it was just solid from every angle. The team-oriented market, the Angels at home, the Royals on the road, in this price range, it's all beautiful.
So back to the cash cow, it's because it's opened over 300 and closed below it, or is below it now?
Yeah, no, well, yeah, I see a open at 3. I think it was 313, and just like it's just not as profitable. It is still a good bet, but it is not.
Do you think the Dodgers win the division tonight?
I do think the Dodgers.
So the Dodgers Yankees money line parlay would also maybe
that would be a profitable bet. The money line on the Yankees is more profitable than the run line at these prices.
Well, I was going to take the double result. It's only minus 115. So
that seems way more intriguing. I'm just a little bit removed from the baseball stuff, but the one that stood out to me that you were capping that I was like, this is a must bet was the Angels Royals under. It just looks so good.
So that's where I'm stuck with WT, because I guess from an individual bet, I like the under 9 in Royals Angels. From a I'm also interested in, is the Dodgers Yankees or the Yankees double result up to that level? So okay, but let's get into Thursday night football. Join us for our live stream here this evening. I will host the first half of the game. Jose will be hosting the second half of the game. Let's discuss here. Let me just pull up my notes. Let's get to work here. Let's start with the line history and the cash flow and go from there. Here we go. From a line history standpoint, we have heard from cappers on the under and the over, and we've had a move towards the Seattle Seahawks. And I want the Arizona Cardinals. I'm not sure if I can get there. This opened up the look ahead at 2.5. It opened up then on Sunday at 2.5 and quickly moved to 1.5 and then to 1. There was 1 on Sunday night. And then this became a pick 'em. And then the Seahawks are favored. So if you want to say, well, this is a dog to favorite situation that you must support, that's fine. But I also think that you are buying the Seahawks very high after they roll into Pittsburgh and beat a below average Steelers team and then decimate a team that I thought was going to be the worst team in the NFL. It may not be because they look okay at home, but in their first road performance, they decimate the New Orleans Saints. Who cares? Now, we have injuries with the Cardinals, and losing Connor for the season is a big deal. And again, I don't feel comfortable necessarily going up against this move. This total is a 43 right now. The look ahead was 44. That's what it came out at on Sunday night at 44. And then it dropped to 43.5. It moved to 43 yesterday morning, and that's where we stand. We get to the cash flow here. When we get to the cash flow, let's hit the cash flow. And then I want to break down Troy's marinating with the market, but I'd like to hear from Jose first because I'm really interested as to what his plan is. 63% of the tickets, 63% of the tickets are on Seattle and 60% of the cash. 73% of tickets on the under and 71% cash on the under. So yes, on a Thursday night. JT says, what is Kyler's rush yards? So there we go. 2-0 Reds. I don't need that shit. I was hoping that was Rangers. My bad. But still, whatever. They're still in position. I was very interested in using Kyler Murray, his rush yards in an SGP, but I do want to talk about what that number is and if we think that is valid. So I'll pull that up here. So let's just get into some of the X's and O's here, and then we'll go to Jose, and then Jose send it over to Troy. First off, I think this is a sell high spot on the Seahawks, but if you listen to very astute cappers, very sharp cappers like Birdie, he thinks that the Seahawks are still undervalued in the marketplace, that they're a very good football team. Sam Darnold just had the second best quarterback rating in the history of the franchise. Jackson Smith-Njigba played through the flu and played very well. Zach Charbonnet is coming back from injury. So he's a full go. That's going to help them. But, Witherspoon, Julian Love, Nick Emenwari, all out in the secondary for the Seahawks is a problem. And I'm going to pull out the injury report and get the latest information from them. The Cardinals have not looked very good this year, and they didn't look good in the 16-15 loss at San Francisco. But that first home game against the Panthers, they dominated the Panthers, and then they took their foot off the gas. They got cocky. They relaxed. That happens. That just happens, and I don't put too much emphasis into that. Yeah, it was a mistake, or it was a poor coaching, or whatever. They got lethargic, yes, this offense looks very pedestrian. Marvin Harrison owes his team. That game should have been over if he makes one catch where he was all alone. The ball was right in his hands. I think he can step up. Do I want to trust that he can step up? Do I want to trust that Trey Benson can handle the ground game? Do I want to trust that Kyle Murray can be better than we've seen? That's why I haven't bet the Cardinals yet. Jose is not on screen. Oh, here he is. Jose, I want to hear your plan and then hand it over to Troy, and I want to hear everybody in the chat as well. So take it away.
Yeah, I struggle to keep all my Troy-isms in line. But I believe this is a Troy-ism that this dog to favorite line switch in football is not that big of a deal. Like, the fact that the Cardinals opened up -1 here was shocking to me. I couldn't believe it. The Cardinals, who just shit down their leg last week, are going to be favored over, and obviously the line's flipped, but the fact they opened up favored against a Seahawks team that is shown to be competent, like I thought that was a classic. They open this line up in a spot that makes no sense. The line movement in this spot does not matter. And I think the Cardinals win this game. So I just couldn't believe that the Cardinals opened up at 1.5. I don't care that they've opened up or they've moved to 1.5 now, the Seahawks. If it got to 2.5, and obviously then I'd be a little more concerned, but it's Cardinals for me. I think the Cardinals win this game outright.
Well, I like to hear that. I also, Troy, comment on a couple things here from the chat. One, I know you're on the under, and I am a huge backer of NFC West unders. I'm not on it at this point. AM says, always be wary of public road dogs and public unders. 73% of tickets on the under, 70% of cash on the under. Books aren't flinching. Circa opened up 43.5, moved to 44, back to 43.5. We see that where we used to play poker at a 43. Spooner says, I don't understand how we got to the point where Sam Darnold on a short week laying points on the road. People are buying high on the Seahawks and selling low on the Cardinals. He says, if the spread stays under 2, I'm on the Cardinals. If you can touch on those and what Jose has said, I'm all ears. Take it away.
There's a lot to discuss because I think that this line move has been more significant than you guys have alluded to. In some books, the Cardinals were opening up -130. That's a 2. That's a flat 2, almost a 2.5. There's some other respected books that open it up in that range. We came all the way across to this is a complete flippening. And I do talk about it not being as big of a deal in football. However, when you narrow down that sample to in division, it does not look good for the Arizona Cardinals. And when I start to slice up this market every way you can possibly conceive it, all of the action on the Seahawks, all of the bets, the cash, the line movement, incorporate the total in division, and just looking at the fact that home dogs in this price range in division, +1, +2, anywhere between the twos have gotten crushed the past 3 years. The market is completely in my favor. So then all I have to do is quantify the matchup because it signs off from every facet of the market. So the matchup itself, I can make a case for both defenses. I think there's a good chance that both teams stop the run. So that does concern me for my total. And I haven't done a lot of market analysis on the total since that day because I have a little slightly more action on the side because I have the teaser and I did bet the money line a little bit heavier. But I think that the Cardinals' strength of schedule between the Saints, the Panthers, and the 49ers with no Purdy, barely winning the first 2 games, and they're beating the Panthers. Now, it was handily, and that was actually one point I made. I haven't had the chance to go back and rewatch that game, and the reason I haven't, the point I made on Tuesday, was because the market was so strong. Now I have some time. Maybe I'll do that before the game starts, and if I like what I see, if I thought the Panthers were being more competitive, because what the Panthers did against the Falcons, that's what we were trying to talk about Tuesday. How much do we weigh what the Panthers have done to the Falcons, and how much did that weigh into this equation? And if you rewatch what happened with the Panthers last week, they did not win that game. They got gifted the game on multiple levels. And the main difference between these two teams is the Seahawks are going to dominate the trenches. I think they have a weapon advantage, too, on the outside. They have much more wide receiver options than does the Arizona Cardinals. Obviously, their special teams have been playing off the charts, and McDonald's defensive scheme, I think, is perfect for a guy like Kyler Murray, a mobile quarterback. He has a ton of athletes in the second level and in the secondary. So he's going to be running cover 4, cover 2, cover 6. It's going to be mostly cover 4 and cover 6 all night. It's going to help keep Murray in the pocket. And I don't know if they have the offense. I mean, we've seen this offense just flutter at times this season. Now we've seen them actually work the ball up and down the field before, but guess what? They were running the football, and I don't think they're going to have that luxury tonight. So, and then you talk about Kyler Murray, how his numbers fall off significantly for zone coverage. His yards per attempt dropped by 1.7 yards. His EPA per dropback gets cut in half. And I think that's something you have to build into the equation too. I'm on the Seahawks money line. I bet the teaser, and I got the under 43.5. And I'm probably going to go take a peek at this game from last week, or I want to watch the Cardinals Panthers and see how that looked.
Wow. and we capped this together, and that was the reason why I didn't move on it. So you have no fear on selling the Seahawks high.
Well,
buying the Seahawks high, excuse me.
So yes, right. Buying the Seahawks high and the Cardinals. There is a lot to that. Like, that's the only reason I haven't moved on this for multiple units, because the matchup is perfect and the market is perfect for a multi-unit bet. The only reason I haven't done that is because of the motivational aspect. Cardinals coming home, heartbreaking loss. Seahawks on the road after fat and happy off of 2 wins and two very good-looking, dominating wins. I mean, situationally, that's the only thing you're putting, your money on if you're betting on the Cardinals. And sometimes in the NFL, that's good enough. But what's good enough for me is seeing the history of all this money on the Seahawks, the line moving their way and getting the job done.
Well, let me ask you this here. That first game against New Orleans for the Cardinals, Kyler Murray had the flu. They were impressed that he played through it. And he said, I'm going to fight for my team, and said all the right things.
And if you go back and watch that game, that was awesome. I mean, it was awesome. If you go back and watch that game, Kyler Murray's play trickled off. Like, it tapered off, and you could tell he was getting dehydrated. You could tell he wasn't the same. So that's a good point, though. I mean, it was impressive.
Both teams have a common opponent. Who looked better against the 49ers? The 49ers, one had Purdy and one had Mac Jones. And that's a huge difference. Seahawks were at home when they fell to the Niners 17-13. Cardinals were at San Francisco when they fell 16-15. Who looked better against them?
I think the Cardinals looked better against them. But it was the first game of the season with the new quarterback. But I think the Cardinals looked better against them. But I think that the 49ers stole both those games. It's the only reason I'm not on the 49ers this week right now, but I might be.
I am on the 49ers this week.
I know, and the market's with you in that scenario. So I don't think the market would be with you in this case of the Cardinals.
What do you think of what you've heard, Jose?
Well, I do not like going against Troy, but in this instance, I don't have action on Thursday Night Football often, and it's going to be a Cardinals bet for me. So God bless you, Troy. But I hope
you, Jose.
But I hope that you are wrong here, like you are wrong about our future race, where I will dominate you one day, hopefully. Just like I'll beat Jimmy in an ice rink race as well. I can't wait for that. But yeah, Cardinals is going to be for me money line tonight, and obviously come watch the live stream tonight. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. And I'll be there the second half sweating out these bets with you guys.
All right. Well,
so what are you thinking, Jim?
Well, first off, I'm going to bet the live over 5.5 in the Twins-Rangers game. So let's start there. We got this in here. Sorry, I got to sign up.
And then I'm gonna let me just read off some of these from the database. So I gave some of them out, but I've also extrapolated on top of those. And you know what? I don't have to do that. I did it on Tuesday. You can go watch the video. There's a bunch of good numbers, good market data, history that would support this.
Well, and I wouldn't mind if you touch on some of them. Back over to the Kyler Murray rush prop. It goes back to what Troy was saying, that Mike McDonald has the right defense to keep Kyler Murray in the pocket. Kyler Murray through 3 games this year so it's a 28.5 and it's juiced to the under. And Kyler Murray has run while sick against New Orleans, he ran for 38 yards. At home against Carolina, when he didn't really have to try that much until later in the game when everything was falling apart, he ran for 32 yards. And then at the 49ers, he ran for 37 yards. So here the books are putting up a 28.5, which is less than what he's run in 3 games. So the public's obviously going to bet it, probably without the understanding of what Troy was talking about, that McDonald can have the right approach to keep him in the pocket. So I'm not going to be using the Kyler Murray prop. And JT moved on the under 29.5. So, I've got to sit with all this, and that's what I'm going to do right now. At this point, I do not have a bet on this football game. And I'm okay with it. I don't need to force it, but I do think that you can't just take the angle of, selling high and buying low, just, as a blanket approach. Great job, Nate. Love to hear it. Spooner says Cardinals are top 5 in pass protection and bottom 5 in rush protection. Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet have not impressed me at all. I thought they were going to be just such a dynamic duo. And we talked about it in our preseason breakdown of the Seahawks that PFF has Kenneth Walker graded extremely high in his career, despite seemingly worse production every year of his career. Is there anything else you want to touch on, Market? Anything that you want to just, because I'm going to go sit with this game for a while after I get my MLB action in.
Yeah, I do. Now I'm thinking about the question you had asked me about who's more impressive against the 49ers. And I think about what I mentioned after I watched Seahawks 49ers in week 1 was, where's the play action? Don't you look at the numbers from last year when Darnold is dominating in the play action game with Minnesota? And then they bring him in and they run like one play action pass in week 1. And then they come back and they've been running it at like a higher rate than 30%. Because right now he's 30% of his dropbacks this season are now play action. And we've seen him have these, be very successful through the air that way the past 2 weeks. I expect to see more of that. And none of these teams really truly impressed me yet that are in that the Saints, the 49ers, the Panthers, in this group, right, that we've analyzed. Only the Seahawks have. And so I've kind of changed my position, which makes me think back and come back full circle to what you said. Are you buying high? Right. So you're always trying to nitpick. You're always trying to find your blind spot. And that would be it for me.
Sports Investor says, if you want to bet Seattle, do you think the line should be 3?
I would put this line around -2. I'd put this line around -2 Seahawks. That's kind of where I thought this line should be.
I wouldn't have put it there at the beginning of the year, would you have? Before any games had been played?
No, I would have put this.
I would have put Cardinals -2.5.
Yeah, Cardinals -2. Actually, that's where it opened. So that's where you could also argue value. But
Salty Pete in the house. Strength of schedule to date, Seattle 29th, 32nd for Arizona. And that's what AM was, as WT explaining, alluded.
What is AM on? I just pulled the chat back up.
AM's on the over.
AM's on the over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's actually see that again. I'm just going to isolate instead of just looking at, I want to see this total in division. Because I know in this price range in division, like this market says under, but let's just isolate the total. I'll report back.
I can't wait till Troy and AM are just chatting up all about these spreadsheets and shit in the Discord. They're just going to be talking about how do you Z-proof your Z-code for your fucking models and shit, and I'll be very interested. I won't know what they're talking about, but I'll be very interested.
I was very interested in what he said the other day about the tool he's using for Microsoft. It's like an attachment.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck any of these things mean, Troy.
The public is pretty public under, Chappie. It's 73% of the tickets, 72% of the cash. And I was telling Troy that in the NFC West unders that there's a 2-point move generally as soon as the line comes out, and that wasn't here yet.
How much cash do you have on the under, Jim?
73 and 72. Tickets 73, cash 72.
Okay, well, if I'm looking at, so here's a profile I'm looking at. I'll post this one in Discord as well. in division, it's a small sample, but I just, I'm adding cash flow. I'm adding the total movement. It's a lot of variables, but I'm looking at when there's a lot of cash on the under. This is over 60% of cash on the under in a divisional game where the total opened between 44 and 45 and closed below 44, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I moved to the under. No, nothing on the spread. Has nothing to do with the spread. But the road team in this situation is 8-1 straight up, 7-2 on the money line, and it's 6-3 to the under. And this is the worst one I've seen for the under as well. And then there's 3 games on prime time. And let me actually just filter this down instead of trying to count them up manually. 3-0 on the road, road team 3-0. And it's actually 2-1 to the over on prime time.
Well, we have a lot to think about. Troy and I will be getting the live stream popped off at 7:20 p.m. Eastern. We have just my 2 cents play of the day SGP. Darnold 200+ passing yards, Jackson Smith Najigbud 60+ receiving yards, and Marvin Harrison 30+ receiving yards.
Ooh.
That is plus 121 for just my 2 cents. We have Troy on Seattle money line. Seattle plus 7.5 and Falcons plus 8.5, and the under 43.5 for Troy Torrence.
Jimmy, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What about this New England Patriots game?
Well, I on the Patriots double result, a plus 105, and the question for me is, do I want to invest more, and at what point do I want to invest more? I saw that it went from 5.5 to 5 at some books, but the big move to me was the look ahead was 5.5. The Panthers go out and win 30-0, opens up at 4 and moves to 5.5 again pretty quickly, which means that the sharps or the pros or the gamblers that make the lines move said, "Oh, this is great. I get a 1.5 because you guys believe what you saw." So that's my feeling with this. Again, the Patriots haven't had a 5 turnover game since 2008. This is buy low, sell high all over it. So the question is, do I want to further invest?
Yeah,
That's
me
the
too. I'm considering it. It's just I have so many favorites this week. It just doesn't feel comfortable. And then my how, I don't know if it's like this for you, but for me, it just makes me want to start parlaying teams together. And then it's like, well, then you're just throwing shit at a dartboard. Like, it's got to be calculated, and there's just too many variables to incorporate. I don't even know how to handle it, honestly. And mentally, being on a bunch of favorites just don't feel comfortable at all, especially after last week. I mean,
well, that was the first parlay I bet all year. Was the Chiefs, Seahawks, Bills at minus 108. I don't gravitate towards it. I'm only starting to bet it because I've been tracking you and watching you succeed in it.
well, the Patriots, I want to get more action down on their money line. So is it the Bills? Is putting it with the Bills? Can I trust the Bills to do a double result? Or my vividness bias gonna keep me off that because of what happened to us and against the Dolphins?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the money lines with the Eagles. I grabbed the Rams -3 at the end of the show. It was available on FanDuel, of course, because that's where the public is definitely going to be coming in on the Colts. I think the sharp side is the Rams. I think we're going to see this move and close 4.5 to the Rams. So if you're betting for CLV, I would bet the Rams right now because it'll close 4.5.
The Rams were one of my contest picks, most likely.
What's your record in the contest right now?
Well, I think I haven't checked because I got traumatized with the fucking Rams last week. That was.
I always put them in on Thursday, and then I don't look at them again, and I'm always surprised to see my picks.
Well, that's funny, but I went 1-4 this week. I thought I was going to scrape across with 2 and 3. But again, I'm glad, Jimmy, that you didn't bet the Rams because all of your talk on the Rams got me on them, and I'm glad that it saved you like years on your life because I thought I was going to swerve into a different lane and just commit vehicular suicide with my brother in the car.
It was insane.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
Being on all 3 of those, if you had Packers money line with a bunch of teams, and you had. Oh, dude, the bookies cleaned up this past week. Also, a theory that I have in this type of game, and looking back at samples of primetime games, guess when the public cashes at the highest rate? It's on Thursday Night Football. So what does that tell? And Friday. Any games on Friday, the public is winning every time. So what does that tell me? They're trying to get everybody fat and happy going into the weekend. They got NFL coming up on Sunday, football Saturday. It's like, then they get wiped out on Saturday. They give it all back on Saturday. Then NFL comes back, and then they just, they have to redeposit. They're going to like, okay, I'm even this week. I'm going to go buy in some more on Sunday, and then wipe them out.
7 and 8, by the way.
I just, it's a good question, Topside. Why I don't want the Dodgers first 5. I just want the Dodgers to win the baseball game, and the market isn't helping. The market's hurting. Like, I had to go against the market to bet that, so it doesn't. It's not very appealing to me. When you have to go up against the market.
The contest, I wouldn't have had this. I probably wouldn't have made my face today.
Well, I've got to get action in, and I've got to start figuring out what the hell to do with this Thursday nighter. So let's put a bow on the show. Troy, thank you for jumping on as soon as you got back from the conference. It means a ton to us. Please support.
I've been waiting for this moment. I've been waiting for this moment, dude, to get back in my command central, my fucking 3 monitors at TV. Goddamn, no one's home right now. I'm about to cap my ass off for this weekend.
I can't wait. I can't wait to rock with you, man. Thank you for all that you do for us, my friend. Please support our guy Troy on X and catch him opening up the game with me here this evening. I'm going to pop his X handle here in the chat. If you're not following him, please do. And Troy, my man, any last words for the Cappers supporting the show?
Yeah. I'm gonna probably be, especially when I'm on the show in that Discord. I would get there, especially if you're interested in what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about market history, I'm gonna start popping those in when I'm capping these games, and so you guys aren't blind and you don't think I'm making shit up.
And Minnesota Texas game, I'm telling you, if there's a 4.5 of it, like the last 2 of the last 3 batters have gone to the warning track. I think this is it a 4.5 now? I'm not going to bet it again because it's still 5.5. But this is going to be a 4.5 probably if they get another out. If this gets to 4.5, I would move on it. Let's review all action. Yes, WT, we are getting our Discord popping. We had a big meeting about it yesterday, so we were all in it yesterday, and we are getting it popping. So. That's for the silver and gold members of the channel, and we thank you guys so much for being silver and gold members. Let's review all action here on the show and put a bow on the proceedings. Oh, beautiful, Swiggy. That's great news. So here we go. We have. Oh, by the way, I'm close to moving on the Texans plus 9.5 for next week against at Baltimore. Let's study that a little more. Pig milk play of the day. Pig milk play of the day is ECU, East Carolina, -4, -110. Stacks play today #1. Springer over 1.5 bases plus 115. And Stacks play. Do we finally get a hit in this goddamn game? Thank you. Stacks play today #2. Harrison 50 plus receiving yards plus 102. Stacks. Kong's play today. Lodolo is already in action here. Dougie Wise, free bands play today. Seahawks -2. Bonus play. Horton over 24.5 receiving yards -115. Irish King on Najigba 75 plus receiving yards and anytime touchdown. Then we have Spooner's action that's left. Phillies Marlins over 9. Pirates Reds under. Oh, that's already gone. And Mets money line. Lord Chief Jaguar. It's on the Seahawks, and he's moving it to 6.5. Also on the A's, Phillies, Yankees run line, and Mariners run line. Gorky on the Red Sox money line and the Diamondbacks money line. Then for action here in CFL. Bobano on the Alouettes Rough Riders money line parlay at plus 112. That's Alouettes Rough Riders. He's on the over 56 in Toronto, BC, and both team totals over. Lions 32.5, Argos 22.5. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play days, the Dodgers -1. Then we have Bobano on the Bombers money line and the over 51.5, and he's on the over 54 in Saskatchewan, Edmonton. In college football, he's on James Madison -17, James Madison over 37.5, and full game over 57.5. He's on the over 64 in Notre Dame, Arkansas. He's on UCF plus 6.5. Fap win give us some Australian racing on Saturday. Belmont race 7. It's a 5-1 spot. His ROI on these spots is very good. He's a very high ROI in horse racing. I'm going to pop it here again for you guys. It's, not till Saturday. Shout out to our guy, WT, now a PSR Silver member. Thank you, WT. So you won't, not only will be in the merch races on Fridays, but you'll also be in the Discord with us, which is great. Thank you for that, WT, my man. Mississippi State plus 8.5 in the over 62.5 for Bobano. Western Kentucky -4. Western Kentucky team total. Okay, sorry. I thought we might have another. Western Kentucky team total over 33.5 and the over 61.5. He's on FAU plus 14. I'm going to join him on that. He's also on the team, the over 62. I'm going to move on the Florida Atlantic team total over as well. App State plus 16.5 for Bobano. He's on the over 52 in Alabama, Georgia. He's on Kentucky plus 6. I'm going to join on that. And he's on A&M -5.5 in the over 52. Dabby's on Moss anytime touchdown A&M money line, and Jeremiah Cobb over 54.5 rush yards. Then for our action coming up here, the Dodgers -1's already started. I'm going to be on the Phillies and possibly an under. I need to see the lineup. I might be on the under in Detroit, Cleveland. I'm going to be on Yankees double result. And then I am might move on the Mets with Spooner. And I'm tripling up on that Royals game. Royals first 3 under, full game under. And I have some interest in the Rockies Mariners game, but I should probably just leave it alone. That's what I should probably do, which I haven't done yet, but I may do that. Jose Bouquet, my friend, you have already dropped your MLB action just a second ago. We don't need to hit it again. Spooner also on the Royals as well. Royals -108. I think I have that here in my notes. I don't. Thank you for mentioning that. I do have on your full game action. I just don't have it here on the Royals game. No, I do. Royals -108. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong game. And Jose's on the Royals -118. Thank you to everybody in the chat for your support. Phil, the kill, says, what's the biggest Phillies lineup concern? Well, they're not going to catch the Brewers. And so they are going to be in the second seed. So which left-handed bats are not going to be in the lineup? At least Harper. Jansen Junk, his Achilles heel is left-handed bat. So if there's a bunch, and I want to back Walker Buehler. So if there's a bunch of left-handed bats out of the lineup, I probably, oh wow, Orioles tied up at 5. Wow. Thank you, JT. Says, see y'all tonight. Jump on with us if you can live, JT. I'll send you the link. Dav Fenn, just my 2 cents as we back up on the Discord. 24-hour capping for silver and gold members. Phil the Kill, Big Zo, Salty Pete in the house. Respect, Salty. Spooner, thank you for rocking with us today. Big Zo, thank you. Kong's Clips, Alec Dirks on Seattle Moneyline. Let me copy and paste this so we can talk about it here on our live stream. Thank you, Alec, my man. So let me just get this here for Alec Dirks. I didn't have that before, so thank you, Alec. That is in business. Thank you all. Nasty Nate. Thank you. Gorky, Tex Styles, Top Set, WT. Thank you for all of your support, you guys. Chappie, Andrew G. Thank you, guys. I'm excited. I'm pumped up, excited. Oh, I wish that was a double. Fuck. Jose, my friend, can you please bless our action and lead us into the future?
Yeah, let's fucking have it, as they say, as well. So shout out to you guys all in the chat. Busy day ahead of us. We'll see you guys here later today for the live stream tonight. Until then, jump in the Discord. If you've got any questions on how to get on the Discord, shoot us a message on Twitter or whatever. Tweet at us. We'll help you guys get back there. Gold and silver members, we want you guys back there, chatting it up and doing the damn thing. So shout out to you guys, and let's Leche, Los bookmakers.